We've had two very exciting games here in Lexington, Kentucky this week, albeit starkly different games. A tight pitchers duel with the Barnstormers winning 3-2 back on Tuesday night. Then yesterday during the day, we had a wild slugfest, and eventually Lexington prevailed by the final score of 11-10. Both those games going extra innings, 11 frames on Tuesday and 10 innings here a night ago. This evening to wrap up not only this series, but the Barnstormers' 12-game road trip and our travels for a while. The Barnstormers will be sending Cameron Gann to the mound. He will start the evening with a record of 4 wins and 4 losses on the season. He'll be opposed by Jeff Thompson. Thompson is 1-6 on the year with a 7.65 ERA. The wind tonight is blowing out to left. The ball will travel here in Lexington with the temperatures in excess of 90 degrees and that wind blowing out. The pitchers are going to have to keep the ball on the ground to have success here tonight. From here, the Barnstormers will be back home. They will be taking on the Staten Island Ferry Hawks tomorrow evening, but it is Lebanon County weekend. So the Lancaster Barnstormers uniforms will be packed away for 3 days, and the club will show up tonight as the Lebanon Iron Masters. And we will be on radio, actually, for the first time in several years. We'll be on Froggy Valley 100.1 with the audio portion of our broadcast, as well as on the Barnstormers YouTube channel. They are introducing the legends one by one here on this Thursday night, and momentarily we'll send you down to the field for the national anthem, and we will get to those same starting lineups here this evening to finish off our 3-game series in Lexington. We do not come back here to face either Legends or the Genomes here in 2022. Now down to the field, here is our Star Spangled Banner.
Performing the national anthem today is Diana Roches.
Here are those starting lineups for this evening's game, the finale and rubber game of this 3-game series. For the Barnstormers, it will be Sean Dunston Jr. leading off in center. The second baseman batting number 2 is Melvin Mercedes. Kelly Dugan is the Lancaster DH tonight. He's batting third. Andretti Cordero will bat in the cleanup slot and play first base. Colton Shaver is catching and batting fifth. The right fielder in the number 6 position in the lineup is Anderson Felice. Trayvon Robinson is in left field batting 7th. Trace Lair will make the start at third base and hit 8th. And Jake Hoover back in action for the Barnstormers tonight is the shortstop in the number 9 slot. Cameron Gann on the hill, 4-4 with a 5.31 ERA. And for the Legends this evening, Boog Powell leads off in center. Tillman Pugh is the second baseman batting number 2. Brandon Phillips has moved on, so the right fielder, Philip Irvin, will bat third. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman, Isaias Tejeda. Monster day for him yesterday with a pair of home runs. Dwight Smith Jr. will bat fifth. He will be in left field. Montrell Marshall is the designated hitter batting sixth. The third baseman in the number 7 slot will be Manuel Geraldo. Pete Jorgen is catching and hitting 8th. And the guy who was the hero ultimately yesterday, Cesar Cuevas, the 22-year-old shortstop, is batting ninth. He had 3 consecutive clutch singles in the late innings for the Legends yesterday. He tied the game in the 6th, brought them a run closer in the 8th, and then eventually won it in the bottom half of the 10th inning here during the daytime yesterday. Our umpires tonight, Jason Tice is calling balls and strikes. Cedric Coleman has the duties over along the first base line. And it will be Bob Howard with the calls on the third base side. The attention now is on right-hander Jeff Thompson, making his 9th start and 11th appearance overall this year for Lexington. He is 1-6 with a 7.65 ERA, but he's been remarkably consistent. He hasn't given up more than 6 runs in a start. He's been able to go 5 or 6 innings. He hasn't had a great start, no quality starts, and no unmitigated disasters for Thompson along the way. 42 1/3 innings, 56 hits, 36 earned runs. He's walked 25, and he has struck out 42. He starts off Dunston with a called strike. It is 0-1. Not, not much of a series so far for Sean. He is just 1 for 11 here in Lexington. A couple of stolen bases, and he has scored 2 runs. Thompson with an off-speed pitch sends it past the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on the left-handed batting center fielder. 292 overall with 5 extra base hits, 3 runs driven in. He looks at ball 2 up and away. 2 balls and a strike. The infield has Manuel Geraldo again at third. The shortstop is Cesar Cuevas. Tillman Pugh at second. Isaias Tejeda over at first. And now 2-1. Taken low by Sean. 3 balls and a strike. And once again, he is very patient when leading off a game. He will stand in there as long as the opportunity will allow. 3-1. He takes a second strike at the knees. That will fill out the count. The outfield has Dwight Smith Jr. in left. The center fielder is Boog Powell. Phil Irvin is in right field again tonight. Pete Jorgen back in after sitting out last night is doing the catching. Here's a 3-2 high and outside. Dunston is on, and Thompson immediately gives himself a challenge. Dunston has reached base in 17 of the 18 games he has played. His streak broke when he went 0 for 6 here on Tuesday night, although he did reach base on a fielder's choice. That technically does not count. Here is Melvin Mercedes. Mercedes at 246 with 27 runs batted in for the year. The Thompson pitch is a strike on the inside corner to Mel. It is 0-1. Dunston, the runner at first, he has stolen 9 in his 3 weeks in a Barnstormers uniform. We'll see if he can get ignited here. Challenging Thompson and Jorgen. Throw goes over, and Sean knew that was coming. So he is back in easily. Mercedes the hitter with Kelly Dugan waiting on deck. Infield set up, double play depth. Dunston holds, and ball 1 is high and outside on Mercedes. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Lancaster second baseman, who temporarily gave the Barnstormers a 9-7 lead in the game yesterday with a clutch 2-run single with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. There's another throw to first, and Dunston hits the deck. He drove in Anthony Peroni and Dunston. Dunston reaching on a bunt single on that particular occasion. It's his only hit of the series so far. And to Mercedes, it is past the outside corner in ball 2. Well, Thompson, who for the season has averaged somewhere 5.3, 5.4 walks per 9 innings in that general neighborhood, struggles with his control early this evening. Dunston out to a decent lead. He's going to stay, and the 2-1 to Mercedes is up top. Ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. And one of the reasons that you're not running here, if you're Dunston, is that with Thompson struggling with his control in the early going, there's a halfway decent chance you're going to get to second anyhow. Mercedes batting at 3 balls and 1 strike. Now Dunston takes off. That pitch is ruled ball 4, so the throw down to second does not matter. Back-to-back walks issued by Thompson at the outset of the game. And here is Kelly Dugan, who for the first time all year is in something that you could call a slump. He is 2 out of his last 16 over 4 games without an RBI. An opportunity for him here. Dunston and Mercedes already on base. Unlikely you'll see the runners start unless they can get a phenomenal jump. You don't want to take the bat out of Dugan's hands, and this is what he's facing. He gets a breaking ball on the outside corner, 0-1. His timing's been a little bit disrupted. He's seeing a lot of good pitches. Down a strike here with 2 on base already. Andretti Cordero waits on deck. Here's the pitch from Thompson, way outside and speared by Jorgen. He got that in the webbing of the catcher's glove, having to reach wide to his left. Dugan up there at a ball and a strike. He was pulling a lot of line drives during BP today. While I was watching him, I didn't see him hit any out. He may have during other turns in the BP session, swinging a foul tip on a high fastball. And Thompson has him now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jeff Thompson has averaged about a strikeout an inning. So he always has that in his back pocket. Dunston, the runner at second. Mercedes off of first base. Dugan waiting at 1 ball and 2 strikes here. The runners take their leads. Here's the pitch. Kelly checks on the swing. The pitch is low. He did hold in time, says the third base umpire, Bob Howard. And the count will run at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dugan had 3 homers in a span of 2 games at Long Island. And he was red hot early in that series. Here's a 2-2 to him, off the wrists and foul to the left. The count continues, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He had gotten on one of those tears that power hitters will have. In fact, he had hit 10 home runs in a span of 14 games. Nobody can keep up that pace. Not if you're human anyway. In a video game, you might. Ball 3 is high, 3-2. And Dugan now has gone to a full count. The third consecutive batter to get the ball 3 against Thompson. The other 2 picked up the 4th one. Dunston off second, Mercedes off first. Here's the payoff to Dugan. He wraps a grounder foul off that very popular camera well down there. We've seen a lot of foul balls hit there. This one skipping up into the crowd. Dugan continues at 3 balls and 2 strikes. When power hitters get a little bit off stride, and it happens, you just look for them to contribute here and there. The payoff pitch. Kelly will take ball 4 down low, and that will load the bases for Andretti Cordero. 3 walks in a row. Thompson has already issued 19 pitches in this game. And now Cordero will step in. He's the first baseman. That bodes well. Andretti has hit safely in 18 straight games when he's played on defense. It's early in the game. That also bodes well. He has been tremendous in the first 2 or 3 at-bats on this road trip. With the bases loaded, not so much. He'll take a pitch outside and low, ball 1. Cordero has batted with the bases loaded more often than any other person on this team, but he's just 2 out of 13 in the opportunities. Dunston at third. Mercedes is at second. Dugan, the runner, at first. And to Cordero, he pops this up. Infield fly rule in force as the shortstop, Cuevas, is back to make the catch. That is an enormous first out for Thompson. And so often it is what Cordero has done with the bases loaded. He gets very jumpy up there. You've got a guy who's been wild. He has walked 3 in a row. He's behind in the count 1-0. And it's one of the things they're trying to work with Andretti on. Now, you don't want to alter him too much because he has driven in 49 runs. He's having a very productive year, but he gets a little bit impatient and tries to drive the first thing he sees. Now to Colton Shaver, a first pitch strike. It's 0-1, and Jeff Thompson now has an opportunity to get off the hook. Shaver hitting .272 with 10 home runs. Number 10 tied the game in the 9th inning yesterday, and it was a blast to left. Breaking ball, that is there. Thompson having a chance to settle in, And he now has Shaver at no balls and 2 strikes. Anderson Felice, the right fielder, waits on deck. Dunston, Mercedes, and Dugan, the base runners all around for the Barnstormers. Just 1 out in the inning. Colton Shaver bats at 0-2 and takes a fastball upstairs. Ball 1, 2 strikes. Felice had 3 hits yesterday. The Barnstormers overall swung the bats very, very well in yesterday's game. 14 total hits. They had just 6 in the series opener Tuesday night. 2 of those were in the 11th inning. Here's the pitch to Shaver. Breaking ball stays high and inside. So it's now 2-2 on the Lancaster catcher. 3 walks to start the inning. Thompson has racked up a lot of pitches here in the top half of the first. They got that big pop-up out of Cordero. Now to Shaver, 2-2, high and tight, ball 3. Oh, he's gone full. No place to put Colton. Thompson has to come to him here. And he may throw a breaking ball because I think he's thrown that more for strikes than he has his fastball this inning. 3-2 to Colton Shaver with the bases loaded. Here's the payoff, and Colton accidentally fouls that off the knob of the bat, and that's a tough break for the Barnstormers. It's ball 4 and a run if Shaver can get the knob of the bat out of the way. Thompson catching a break on that. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count again to Shaver, the 28th pitch of the inning. Here is the 3-2, and that's high over Colton's head. So he does get the walk eventually anyhow. The 4th given up by Thompson here in the first inning. Dunston is forced home, and that will bring on Anderson Felice, the right fielder. Checks in, batting .263 with a pair of homers and 24 runs batted in. We're going to have a mound visit very early for the Lexington Legends. Mercedes up to third, Dugan now at second, and Shaver, the runner, at first. And this is where the approach of Andretti Cordero, again, you could bring it a little bit into question. You don't want to change him too much. You don't want to have him overthinking. But it's a situation there as difficult as Thompson is finding strike throwing here in the first inning. You might force him to throw one. Felice standing in, batting from the left side, which he is doing exclusively now. The pitch to him is taken for a strike, but Felice there was willing to look at a pitch. 0-1, Trayvon Robinson, the left fielder, who's been hot the last 3 games, waits on deck. 3 on, 1 out. And to Felice, 0-1, bouncing ball, second base. This could be 2. Pugh will go to short for 1 and get the force out. And the shortstop, Cuevas, forgot how many outs there were. He never relayed back to first, and Felice is safe on the fielder's choice. The out is recorded 4-6. Pugh to Cuevas, and Cuevas left the bag, started heading toward the dugout, it appeared. And the Barnstormers catch a little break there. Give Felice his 25th run batted in of the season. And here is Robinson, 7 out of 13 his last 3 games, up to .265 on the season. Jeff Thompson goes to work, and Trayvon goes for the first pitch he sees. Skying it to left. Back on it is Dwight Smith Jr. for an easy play. Lancaster can't come up with a hit in the inning, but they get 2 runs home without the base hit, without an error, technically, and with 2 runners left on base. At the end of a half inning tonight, the Barnstormers off to an odd start. Not necessarily a fast one, but definitely an odd one. It is Lancaster 2 and the Lexington Legends coming up.
Hi everyone, Adam Gockenauer from Gockenauer Appliances, and I'm excited to tell you about a new addition to the Gockenauers family this summer season. We are now selling Titus gas grills. Titus gas grills gives you a high quality, all stainless steel grill at an affordable price, and the best thing is you can assemble it yourself in just 5 minutes. That's right, 5 minutes. Stop by to see this great grill now and mention this ad to receive a free gas grill cover with your Titus grill purchase. Gockenauers in East Petersburg.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
2 on the board for the Barnstormers in the top half of the first inning, and they earned it with their eyes more than their hands and feet. 4 walks in the inning, and then a clear mistake on the part of the shortstop, Cesar Cuevas. Well, that's the youthfulness for you. His first professional season. And his counter was off. He thought there had been 2 outs in the inning. There was just 1. And he handled the feed on a potential double play and went to leave the field. And that enabled Felice to be safe at first. And the second run carried home by Melvin Mercedes to safely score. Lancaster up 2-0, and Cameron Gann on the hill tonight for the Barnstormers, the right-hander from Crandall, Texas. 6-footer and 203 pounds. Gann with 19 walks, 71 strikeouts in 62 2/3 innings. But he picks up strikeouts in stretches. He also tends to give up hits in bunches. And the one time that he has pitched on this field this year, though against the Genomes and not the Legends, he carried a shutout into the bottom of the 5th inning with an enormous lead and ended up giving up 8 runs in the next 2 innings. Here is center fielder Boog Powell, and the first delivery from Gann is across for a strike. It is 0-1. In yesterday's game, we had 13 walks and 12 strikeouts. Barnstormers pitchers fanned 15 here on Tuesday. There's a bunt and a good one. Drag bunt, no chance for Melvin Mercedes to make a play. Powell is on to get the Legends underway on a perfectly placed drag bunt single. No one had an opportunity to make a play on that. You cannot drop a bunt down any better than Powell just did. Now Tillman Pugh, the second baseman, will come to the plate. Pugh is batting .264 with 8 homers, 28 runs batted in. In this series, he is 1 out of 9. Tillman with a single to center field off of Chase Johnson in the 8th inning here Tuesday night. He was hitless in the game yesterday. It was the bottom of the order that did the damage to the Barnstormers pitching staff yesterday. Geraldo and Cuevas combined for 6 hits and 5 runs batted in all late in the game. Now to Pugh, first offering is low. Ball 1, no strikes. Phil Irvin, the right fielder, waiting on deck for Lexington. They've got a man aboard on the bunt single. Powell with 8 steals in 10 tries. Infield for the Barnstormers at double play depth. Gann to the plate, and he bounces the pitch. That will get away from Colton Shaver. It'll be a wild pitch. And already Lexington has a man in scoring position here in the first inning. Gann, the last time out, did not finish the 3rd inning. He pitched Friday night at Long Island. He gave up 7 hits and 4 runs in 2 2/3 innings and threw a ton of pitches. He didn't walk anybody through all of that, but he was in the 70s in pitches when he was pulled from that game. Now to Pugh. This is lined down the right side, and that will land in fair territory. Powell will come home with the first run, the ball bouncing out of play, and a ground rule double for Tillman Pugh down the right field line. Already, the Lexington Legends have come back and put a run on the board against Gann. Pugh with his 6th double, his 29th run batted in. Now here is the right fielder, Philip Irvin, .242 with 5 homers and 26 runs batted in. Isaias Tejeda, the first baseman, waits on deck. Gann has been reached for a lot of base hits in his last couple of starts. 15 in 8 2/3 innings. Before that, 7 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball and a 1-0 win over Staten Island. Low for a ball. It is 1-0 on Irvin. The Barnstormers picking up 2 runs without a base hit in the top of the inning, and now a pair of hits have combined to produce a run in the Lexington portion of the inning. Gann comes back, and this is sliced to right center field. That is down for a base hit. We'll very quickly have a tie game. Dunston firing into second, holding Irvin to an RBI single, and already it is 2-2. Well, the Barnstormers missed out on a great opportunity to score more in the top half of the first inning. They couldn't take advantage of all those walks by coming up with a base hit. And Lexington on the attack right away here in the bottom of the inning. Isaias Tejeda steps in, batting .239 with 6 homers, 24 runs batted in. And he had done very little against the Barnstormers until he got a hold of Brooks Hall, not once, but twice here yesterday. And I'm told the first of those home runs traveled 414 feet. Irvin, the runner at first base, he's got 16 steals. Gann delivers a strike. It is 0-1 on Tejeda. 2-2 already in the bottom half of the first inning. Still nobody out for Lexington. And the fact that the wind is blowing out has not mattered in the least in this game. Throw goes to first. Irvin is back in. We expect these two ball clubs eventually tonight to light it up with long balls. They're going to carry, which they really have not done except the left field. The first 2 games of this series tonight, I think they're going to carry in every direction. Irvin takes off, but Gann's throw to first base is low and gets away from Cordero. It'll be a stolen base because he was on the run. But Gann bounced the throw to first. Even if Cordero had dug it up by that time, it's probably going to be too late. Now, Tejeda standing in with a no-ball, 1-strike count. Another runner in scoring position. Well, the Barnstormers looking for Gann to settle things down in this bottom half of the first inning. We have not seen what you would necessarily consider great baseball here in this first inning. Swing and a miss. Tejeda goes for broke. 0-2 on the guy exclusively now playing first base for this Lexington team. He used to switch back and forth between first base and catching during his 4 seasons with York. Irvin, the runner at second. The count on Tejeda. No balls, 2 strikes. Gann peers back, ready to go, and he is down and away. He was hoping to tempt Tejeda, but that plan didn't quite work. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he may throw another one out of the zone as well. Tejeda's one of those guys who can hit a ball just about anywhere. The first home run he hit yesterday was not in the zone. Here's a pitch. Fastball is high. Tejeda lets that go. Now it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dwight Smith Jr., the left fielder, a left-handed batter, into the on-deck circle. Gann still has not been able to pick up an out. Thompson allowed the first 3 men he faced all to reach base, but that was all on walks. These have been base hits, and the last 2 have been pretty well tagged. The first one was a bunt to Tejeda. Here's a 2-2, and this is nailed out to right field. In his tracks, though, is Felice. He'll make the catch. Challenging the arm is Irvin, and he will beat the relay throw by plenty. Irvin to third on the Tejeda fly ball, so a productive out for the Legends. Dwight Smith Jr., the left fielder, will come to the plate. 4 out of 15 with a run batted in, a double. Gann struck out 12 2 starts ago, despite giving up some hits and runs. That is the season high by a Barnstormer. Everybody's swinging the bat with some authority here in this first inning. Gann trying to get through it to Smith. It is low for a ball, 1-0. 2-2 ball game, lower half of the first inning. The early Lancaster lead has been handed back over here in the bottom of the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes, and it is up and away to Smith for ball 2. Montrell Marshall, a right-handed batting DH, waits on deck. We haven't seen a lot of Marshall in this series. He pinch hit in game one and took over at first base late in yesterday's game. Tonight in the lineup for P.J. Phillips. Here's a 2-0 off the outside corner, and it's 3-0 to Smith. So since Gann has not been a starting pitcher since college up until this year, except for the handful of starts he made at the very end of last year, you wonder if a little bit of tired arm might not be setting in. Ball slapped foul up into the seats on the first base side, and Clay made down there nicely. Smith had the green light on 3-0, and that makes sense given the circumstances. Now 3-1 on the Lexington left fielder. But Gann, coming into tonight, had logged 62 2/3 innings in a couple of months of the season. And you can go through a transitional phase. High fly ball down the left field line, long run for Robinson. This one fades foul. And the count will be 3-2 now on Dwight Smith Jr. Irvin still at third base with one out as Lexington looks to take its own lead here in the first inning after the Barnstormers struck for two. 3-2 strikes. If Gann were to pick up his first strikeout of the game, it would be a very opportune moment for that. Irvin up the line from third, Gann to the delivery, and he walks in ball 4. Cameron Gann still has picked up only one out here in the first inning, but the double play is now set up. Montrell Marshall will come to the plate, 266 with 4 homers and 26 runs batted in. And nothing's been said about Gann perhaps going through such a spell, but it does happen. It's very well known with starting pitchers that their arms can just get a little bit weary, and then it turns back around and they get a second win during the season, if you will. It doesn't happen to everybody, but you hear about the tired arm a lot. First and third with one down to Marshall. This ball is cracked deep down the right field line, but foul. He made excellent contact there, but made that contact just slightly late. One strike, the count on the designated hitter Marshall. Gann hoping to get him to hit a ball on the ground. Lair, Hoover, Mercedes, Cordero, the outfield from third to first. Robinson, Dunston, Felice from left to right. Shaver doing the catching. No balls, one strike with one out. And Marshall gets to take a break. Granted to him by Tice, the plate umpire. 0-1, and Montrell Marshall has been in there for a while. Gann comes set. Over the top, here's the pitch. Fastball is high. It is 1 ball, 1 strike. The first of the heroic pair from yesterday, Manuel Geraldo, is now in the on-deck circle. Gann needs to pick up an out, maybe 2 here. The runner takes off, a check swing by Marshall. He went, but Smith gets to second uncontested as Shaver had to handle a pitch off the carpet. Second stolen base of the inning. They are running on Cameron Gann, and this is a bit reminiscent of opening night. Gann and Shaver were the battery back on the 21st of April against the Gastonia Honey Hunters, and the Honey Hunters stole 7 bases in that game, which remains the season high and I believe the all-time high against the Barnstormers in a contest. One ball, 2 strikes. The count on Marshall. He went around on that last pitch. The double play is now off, so Gann may want to go for the strikeout here. Irvin at third, Smith at second, and the pitch missing down and away. Now it is 2-2. Gann is laboring here in this first inning, but he has a way of fighting back off the ropes. And if he does, it may very well be with a couple of strikeouts back-to-back. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Marshall. Gann is ready. The pitch is inside, and now he has filled the count. And the trouble deepens here in this first inning. He does have an open base, but the guy on deck, Geraldo, has had a good series so far, especially yesterday, and he's a left-handed batter. You don't want to pitch around Marshall here, but use the open base if you have to. Gann asks Shaver to go through the signals once again. 2-2 ball game, bottom half of the first inning. Barnstormers taking on the Legends. Here is the motion and the 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball to first. Cordero steps on the bag, throws to the plate, and safe at home is Irvin with the 3rd run. Cordero going for the double play, and the throw was right on line, just a shade late. Give Marshall a run batted in. The out goes 3 unassisted. And Irvin comes across on the play. 3rd run, and Manuel Geraldo steps in now with Smith at 3rd. And 2 men out. Geraldo up to 244 after the 3 hits yesterday. He has a pair of home runs, and he has driven in 9. Geraldo had 3 hits in a row from innings 5 through 8 in yesterday's game. West Tunnel struck him out in the 9th, but then as the courtesy runner, he scored on the single by Cuevas, sorry. I will get his name right one of these days. Down low for a ball, 1-0. Cuevas with the RBI single very early on against Brett Clark to win it in the 10th inning, and he got doused, did Mr. Cuevas yesterday. Down and in on Geraldo, and the count is now 2-0. Pete Jorgen, the catcher, waits on deck. 3-2 Lexington, bottom half of the first inning. The Barnstormers could not come up with a big base hit in the top of the inning to score more than 2, and by, to some degree, letting Thompson get away with the 4 walks in that inning. They have fired up the hitters. Ball 3 is now outside. And it's 3-0. And the way we're going, neither club is going to keep its designated hitter. 3-0, the count on Geraldo. 7 out of 20 is Geraldo in the season series. He takes, and we get the 3-1. Again, making sure that one got across. Productive outs in the bottom of the inning, to say the least here. Ball 4 is outside. He gives up his 2nd walk to go along with the 3 hits. And both guys now have thrown 30 pitches here in the first inning, and both get a mound visit in the first inning. Mark Johnson on the way out. Again, facing runners at 1st and 3rd with 2 away. Pete Jorgen, the catcher, is the scheduled hitter, and the Barnstormers coaching staff needing to find a way to pull Gann through this first inning. It has been tough sledding for both these starters. With Thompson, it was strictly with the control. And then he settled down and started throwing some first pitch strikes. And he retired the last 2 batters that he faced. And he would have gotten out of the inning with just 1 run if Cuevas hadn't made the mental error. Jorgen will step in with Smith at 3rd, Geraldo at 1st, and 2 outs in the inning. And my guess is Geraldo takes off too. They've been starting virtually everybody that's gotten to first base. Powell never had a chance to get going. He went immediately on a wild pitch. Geraldo stays put. The first pitch fastball is high for ball 1 on Jorgen. Again, clearly struggling here in the bottom of the first inning. But the Barnstormers do not have the off day coming up on Monday, so you can't just run through the bullpen. You want your starter to be able to go the 5 innings. The Barnstormers have 2 off the bench. Called strike to the outside corner. Jorgen bats at 1-1. Jorgen was here with the Legends briefly last year. And he hit .283 in 21 games, .250 coming into tonight. There goes Geraldo. Shaver will throw through, and that is in time. Geraldo is thrown out 2-4. This time Colton Shaver had a chance. And Jorgen will lead off the second inning for the Legends. They score 3 on 3 hits with no errors, and Smith Jr. left over at third base. We'll go to the second inning. It's already been an eventful contest here tonight. At the end of 1, our score is Lexington 3 and Lancaster 2.
It's no longer about answering the most emails or pulling the most all-nighters. It's about prioritizing what's most important.
Hey, Lexus, give me directions to Eagles Peak Hiking Trail. Calculating route.
That's why the Lexus NX has an interface engineered to understand you and an available 14-inch touchscreen that's simpler and more intuitive. The Lexus NX. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
Availability and accuracy of navigation system depends on many factors. Data charges may apply.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for the
Trace Lair, Jake Hoover, and Sean Dunston Jr. scheduled against Jeff Thompson as the Barnstormers step in the top of the second inning. I can't say there was a lot of action in the top of the first. The Barnstormers did score 2 runs, but they did it by promenading around the bases on 4 walks and a forced play grounder. And the first 3 batters got to Barnstormers right-hander Cameron Gann for base hits, and they all scored. Gann threw 32, Thompson 31 in the first inning alone. And at our present pace, we'll play about a 5-hour game, and the team may show up in time for tomorrow night's contest against Staten Island. It will be Staten Island at Lebanon tomorrow night. That's the way we're billing it. Third baseman Trace Lair steps in to lead off against Thompson. Trace batting .220. He has 1 homer, 12 runs batted in, and 2 of those ribbies came in the Tuesday ball game, including the winning run on a walk in the 11th inning. First pitch from Thompson is outside, ball 1. And Lair has drawn 6 walks in his last 3 games. The 1-0 pitch. Thompson gets the breaking ball over. 6'6" right-hander from Louisville, Kentucky. Former third-round pick for the Detroit Tigers. Got to Double-A in the Detroit system. Lair pops this up. Shallow center field. Sprinting in is Powell, going back. The shortstop, Cuevas. And it is Cuevas with the catch. There's 1 out. Jake Hoover, the shortstop, will step in. Jake batting .239. with a home run and 13 runs batted in. Good to see him back out on the field. Hoover with his first action since the series at Southern Maryland. He has not played since July 19th, so 11 days ago. His knee was bothering him. It wasn't any kind of major injury. Check swing and a ball driven foul up into the skyboxes over on the right side. 1 strike, the count on Hoover. Sean Dunston Jr. waits on deck. Lancaster down by a run here in the second inning. And having a hard time squaring up Jeff Thompson, who has gotten his bearings in the strike zone. He deals another to Hoover, and it's 0-2. He started off with 3 walks and 4 walks to the first 5 batters. But now Thompson is throwing strikes, and the Barnstormers haven't been able to do anything with it. Here's the pitch. Hoover does. He drives the ball out the left field. Smith going back. He'll reach up to make the catch. Hard hit ball by Jake Hoover, but he didn't get quite enough of it. This is the site of his only home run here in the Atlantic League. We have 2 outs And Sean Dunston Jr. coming to the plate. Dunston walked and scored back in the first inning. It was a good swing by Hoover with 2 strikes in the count. But Smith playing the wind, and he was already deeper than Jake would ordinarily be played. And he was able to retreat to about the front of the track and make that catch. Now to Dunston. Breaking ball is low. 1-0 on Sean. The Barnstormers still look for their first base hit. 2 days ago, Niall Ball gave up a run in the second inning and had a no-hitter into the 6th. Dunston shows bunt, and he will take ball 2. It is 2-0. Melvin Mercedes, who's also walked in this game, waits on deck. 3-2 in favor of the Lexington Legends. 2-0 to Dunston. He will take ball 3 off the inside corner, 3-0. Dunston does have a very good eye at the plate. He's already walked once tonight, and that's his 12th in 18 games. And closing in on number 13. 3-0. Dunston stares one in low, and he'll walk for the second time. So Thompson has now walked 5. Mercedes will come to the plate. He walked back in the first inning. Mercedes tops on the ball club in drawing walks, although at the same pace per game as Dunston. Just multiply the 13 and 18 games by 3, and you get to Mercedes. Runner on with 2 outs, and we'll see if Dunston takes off here. 9 steals on the year. He's going to go. The pitch is high and outside. The Jorgen throw bounces, and it's backed up nicely by Pugh out in shallow center field. Dunston cannot get up and run. He has his 10th steal. He joins Ladarius Clark in double figures for the Barnstormers. Now a single can tie things up here. Mercedes bats at 1-0 as Thompson again is missed with 5 in a row. He had settled down, retired 4 straight batters. Now Mercedes will look at a breaking ball on the inside corner, 1-1. But Melvin was willing to take that pitch. That one had him beaten, and he knew it, so why go for it? He's confident that he can hit with 2 strikes. To Melvin now, ground ball pulled foul. In and out of a youngster's glove, sitting in back of the first base dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count to Melvin Mercedes. The Barnstormers seek their first hit against Thompson, who averages nearly 12 per 9 innings coming into tonight. The walks are awfully high. His WHIP has been generally pretty miserable. It's in excess of 1.9. And tonight it's all on the base on ball side. Thompson peering in to get the sign from Jorgen. Mercedes has the opportunity to step away, which he does. And they're still not necessarily comfortable with the game plan here. See Thompson finally agreeing to what Jorgen wants him to throw. And the 1-2 pulled on the ground, first base line, and foul. Not by much. Tejeda sprinting to the bag, but ruled foul by Cedric Coleman along the first base line. And nobody had a better view of it, so we'll take his word for it. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Dunston aboard with his second walk of the game. Mercedes trying to get him home, or at the very minimum, draw another walk and get Dugan up there. Brooks Hall coaching first. Ross is over at third. Here comes the 1-2 delivery. Mercedes ground ball toward the middle. Pugh will get there, spin, throw, and that throw is offline. Dunston will try to score. Here's the throw, and he is safe. And the Barnstormers have tied it at 3. Tillman Pugh with a nice stop. Backhanded up the middle on the outfield grass. Spun, couldn't get off enough of a throw to get Melvin Mercedes. Dunston never slowed down coming around third. He's able to score on the Barnstormers' first hit of the game. And it is now 3-3 with Kelly Dugan stepping in. Mercedes driving in his 28th run of the campaign. Here is Dugan. He walked as well back in the first inning. It's 3-3. The Barnstormers with their first hit. Breaking ball stays outside to Kelly. It's ball one and no strikes. This has been a crazy start to the night. It's all walks with Lancaster at the plate and the one infield hit. Now Dugan, it's a high pop fly foul off to the left. These are balls that for most of the season he's been yanking to right field, but he's gotten just slightly ahead of them. And with that, the ball is coming back off the end of the bat, hitting off the end of the bat into the sky. Here's the 1-1, taken off the outside corner for ball two. It's 2-1. Mercedes, the runner, he has 7 steals. He'd probably have more if Durgan weren't behind him in the order. Hard hit ground ball, but foul outside of the first baseline. It is 2-2. You can see it during these few games where Dugan hasn't been at Dugan standards, that the timing is just, it's just a tick off. It's not far. But for most of the season, his timing has been absolutely perfect. And he has been hitting a lot of doubles and home runs and hitting them very, very well. Here, it's in the air to the left side once again, and Smith and Geraldo try to chase it down, but they won't have a play. It continues, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Dugan. And there will be one pitch, one swing somewhere. You hope it's sooner as opposed to later, but where everything will come back together and Kelly will start pounding the home runs again. It's just the way power hitters operate. 3-3 ball game. Mercedes leads off first. Here's the 2-2. Dugan will take that high. And it is a full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes, as Thompson has cleared 50 pitches in an inning and 2/3. I'm hoping we get home for tomorrow night's game. I'm having my doubts here. 3-2. With that, Mercedes will be on the run. There he goes, and Dugan hits it in the air to left field again. Coming on for it and searching the skies, and there to make the catch is Smith. That is the final out of the inning, but the Barnstormers tie it with 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on base. We're at the end of an inning and a half here in Lexington. The Barnstormers and the Legends are tied 3-3.
Localflavor.com, local flavor, localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com, too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
1.5 innings logged tonight. We are tied at 3. Cameron Gann will be facing Pete Jorgen, Cesar Cuevas, and Boog Powell as we head to the lower half of the second inning. Barnstormers have drawn 5 walks. They have a stolen base and an RBI infield hit. Lexington with 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, but then the first inning ended with Colton Shaver throwing a runner out. He got Geraldo at second base for the final out in that first inning. And for Colton Shaver. That was the 9th runner he has thrown out attempting to steal this year. My unofficial numbers have him 9 out of 49, which is a little better than 18%, about 18.4, but he started off, 0 for 18, 0 for 19, so it's greatly improved. Here's the first pitch to Jorgen, right straight through from Gann, and that is a good sign. 0-1, the count on the catcher, who was up when Geraldo was thrown out stealing in the last inning. 3-3 ball game. Gann comes back. He is high and tight with his breaking pitch. The count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike here. Cameron kicks, brings it home, and his breaking ball twists just past the outside corner for a 2 ball and 1 strike count. Barnstormers will be facing right-hander Nick Carroll tomorrow night. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And Eric Manoah will be towing the rubber for the Barnstormers, coming off a very, very strong start against the Long Island Ducks last Friday. Check that, last Saturday through the second game of the doubleheader. Off the wrist and foul back, 2-2. With 3 hits, 2 runs in 5 innings against Manoah. He struck out 7. He'll get the start again tomorrow, facing Staten Island. Gann to the plate, and he missed with that one. He didn't think so. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jorgen. And we have seen some fairly tight strike zones, it has appeared, the last couple of days. Down the right field line, that ball is going to fade foul into the corner. Felice will chase it down. Jorgen continues to bat at 3-2. If there's any slant to the wind tonight at all, it's more blowing out to left than anything else. And it could hold balls into fair territory down the right field line, and it looked like it had a chance to do it there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, still on Jorgen. Gann having to throw a lot of pitches in the early going tonight, and he will deliver ball 4. That is low, and Cameron now has walked 3 out of the last 4 batters that he's faced, and walks are generally not an issue for Cameron Gann. His average has been in the neighborhood of about 2.7 walks per 9 innings. But not tonight. Here is Cuevas, who drove in the tying run in the 6th, a key comeback run in the 8th, and the winning run in the 10th for Lexington here yesterday. Jorgen, the runner at first. Cuevas steps in, batting .226. The pitch is pounded down the right field line, curling foul and out of play. It is 0-1. Infield will set double play depth. Gann has gotten 1 ground ball. That was against Marshall in the first inning. A squibber off the end of the bat, right to Cordero at first. To the plate is Gann. This is fouled off. He has Cuevas at no balls and 2 strikes. Thompson has thrown 53 pitches in the first 2 innings. And Gann is already at 42. Still doesn't have an out in the second. Here's an 0-2. His fastball runs in slightly high. It is ball 1 on Cuevas. But in a game where you've seen 8 walks and no strikeouts to this point, is it all pitching, or is there a little bit tighter of a strike zone? It's virtually impossible to tell from back here and up here. There is called strike 3. Gann finally picks one up, his 72nd strikeout of the year. We have 1 out, and Boog Powell steps in. Powell with a perfect drag bunt back in the first inning, and he scored the first of the 3 Lexington runs there. The Californian, Boog Powell stepping in. He hit .342 last year for Gastonia, was 3 for 8 for Long Island down the stretch. Jorgen holds, and Gann finds the range again, strike 1 called. Powell has had a couple of 4-hit games already this season. at Staten Island May 5th and against the Genomes here back on the 22nd of June, a week ago last night. The pitch, and Gann is upstairs with a fastball. Things are level at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the second inning, 3-3 our score, and we have already been going for 54 minutes. This is, to some weird degree, shades of that dreadful game against Gastonia last year. Inside to Powell, and we get to 2 balls and a strike. The game with 35 walks and 5 hours and 4 minutes for 9 innings. We're on that kind of a pace right now. 2-1 the count to Powell, but that was with the electronic umpires, and at least on the uniform personnel side, not necessarily the techie side, it was generally agreed that something was a little bit off with the electronics that night. Ball 3 high, 3-1. Thompson and Gann clearly have been wild. Well, they haven't been given the benefit of the doubt too often here. 3 balls, 1 strike on Powell. Tillman Pugh waits on deck, coming off a ground rule double down the right field line. Here comes the 3-1 to Powell. He can't hold on the swing. That pitch likely to have been there anyway, but it's 3-2. Might have been high. He may have given up the walk right there. 3-2. Jorgen could run here. I wouldn't necessarily bet against it, but not the fastest guy on this Lexington team, to say the least. He'll hold. 3-2 pitch. That is high. And Cameron Gann now gives up his 4th walk of the night. Pugh will step in. He is 1 for 1 with an RBI. Also has scored. His double, in many ways, the key hit to the first inning. Gann is in all kinds of trouble again, and now it's on walks. There have already been 53 balls thrown in this game. Try to process that. We're in the second inning. 53 balls have been thrown. You can go through a game if Darrell Thompson's on the mound against, say, Niall Ball, and not see that many for 9 innings. Strike 1 on Tillman Pugh, who was trying to leave the yard with that swing. 0-1, the count on the right-handed hitting, generally outfielder, but they have him stationed at second base tonight. And it's the second time in the series he's played there. Back into the screen on a foul ball, and it's 0-2. Brandon Phillips played the first 2 games of this series. He comes and goes. No balls, 2 strikes. The count to Pugh. Jorgen is the runner at second. Powell is on at first. Infield set, double play depth. Gann has the signal from Colton Shaver, and a Pugh, a foul ball back and up just to the first base side of the press box here. We continue at 2 strikes. Barnstormers 3 and Lexington 3. Bottom half of the second inning. The Barnstormers hoping the infield can get a ground ball here and a quick escape to this inning. And Gann leaves the rubber, and Jorgen able to get back into second base. Everybody here in Lexington was yelling back. Nobody was really in position to take a throw. Mercedes came over a little bit later. 2 strikes continuing on the second baseman Pugh. Here is the set. Gann fires and he's low. Ball 1, 2 strikes from Cam. Phillip Irvin, the right fielder who came within a whisker of winning the game here on Tuesday night. The ball that just hooked foul down the left field line in the 11th inning. He's on deck. Here's a 1-2, swung on and missed. So strikeout number 2 for Gann in the inning and the ball game, is 73rd of the year. Irvin will come to the plate. He singled to right center field to drive in a run back in the first inning, and he later scored the 3rd run. Jorgen, the runner, at second. Powell is on at first. We've seen 23 pitches go by here in the second inning. without a ball put in play. There was also a game between the Barnstormers and Gastonia opening weekend last year where we went 55 consecutive pitches without a ball put into play. I don't want to experience that again. First pitch, a called strike. It is 0-1. I mean, this game is not meant to be between the pitcher and the home plate umpire, whether things are balls or strikes, and that's the only thing you see. But occasionally it does turn into that, and this night has been one of those. Ball is outside, 1-1. That was the, I believe, 55th ball tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Irvin awaits with the 2 runners on, and he will take a ball to right. This is going to be tough for Felice. It is down and bouncing toward the warning track, and then Anderson can't reel that in. It's going to lead to a second run. Powell is home as well and racing for third, and being thrown out at third base is Irvin. Well, the Barnstormers able to get off the good relay to take another runner off the bases, but Irvin with a drive down the right field line into the corner, and Felice trying to get to it and cut it off before it got to the wall, ended up knocking it into foul territory, and the Legends kept coming around the bases. So it's 2 runs in the inning on 1 hit. Nobody is left on base, and at the end of 2, it is now 5-3 in favor of Lexington.
This season offers a whole line of new items from Otto's Hospitality. Dig into the world-famous Nathan's Hot Dogs. Take a trip to Otto's Cantina for a walking taco or your favorite adult beverage. Enjoy a helmet of Otto's meatballs or a sausage with peppers from the Broken Bat Deck. For the sweet tooth, there are jumbo chocolate chip cookies, Skyline cotton candy, and ice cream novelties. Or simply snack on Emma's popcorn in a variety of exciting flavors. What a great way to savor your time at the ballpark, courtesy of Otto's.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for
The out went 9-6-5 on Irvin, but he drives in 2 runs, and Lexington now leads by a pair. It is 5-3 as we go to the top half of the 3rd inning. Andretti Cordero, Colton Shaver, and Anderson Felice will step in against Jeff Thompson, as it has taken over an hour for us to get through the first 2 innings of baseball here tonight. And the series finale, it has not been the most active of games. 5 runs on 4 hits versus 3 runs on 1 hit. We have experienced 9 bases on balls here tonight. And that is just a tremendous number for 2 innings. It's more than you should see in a 9-inning game. Let's put it that way. 55 have been out of the strike zone in 2 innings, and the numbers are pretty even as far as that would be concerned. Andretti Cordero steps in. He popped out to the shortstop back in the 1st inning on a 1-0 pitch with the bases loaded. Thompson to the plate, and he chases Cordero out of there. The pitch breaks back for a called strike on the inside corner. It is 0-1. Shaver and Felice will follow as the Barnstormers again trying to fight back. They're down by 2. The kick, and another breaking ball again to the inside corner, and again, Cordero was backing away from it. Thompson has him at no balls and 2 strikes. The motion and the pitch, Cordero swings at that, having to spoil it. He's able to fend it off, and the count remains 0-2. And I wonder if he was under orders to take a strike, considering Thompson has walked 5 in the first couple of innings. But now he's in the hole, still 0-2 on Cordero. Here's the pitch. Again, he gets a breaking ball. This time it is popped up down the right side. Angling back is Tejeda, but he has no play. It's into the seats. We continue at 0-2. The Barnstormers have about a 9-hour trip back tonight. We have to change drivers midstream. So the bus will be handed off somewhere around Bridgeport or Clarksburg or Morgantown, West Virginia. And the second driver will take us the rest of the way. And we'll get in after sunrise tomorrow. Cordero with another pop-up. This one is playable. Jorgen is there. He'll make the catch. Cordero fouls out, so Thompson has him 0-2 tonight. And it will bring on Colton Shaver, who walked to force home a run back in the first inning. On what was really ball 5, except that Shaver, while trying to get out of the way of the first 3-2 pitch, had the ball glance off the knob of the bat. And then the official fourth ball was above his helmet. Thompson to the plate, and Shaver hits a pop-up now. Over on the right side, the second baseman, Tillman Pugh, will make the catch. Holy Orville Redenbacher. Everything's popped up here. And it goes back beyond this inning. That is now the fourth pop-up caught by infielders. One out on a ground ball and 2 fly balls to left. Jake Hoover is the only player to have caught a ball squarely. Here is Felice. He reached on a fielder's choice, driving in a run back in the first inning. 5-3 Lexington, and Thompson starting to get into a rhythm, but he misses low there. It is ball 1 and no strikes. And he's already demonstrated tonight, if he throws strikes, he's going to be tough for the Barnstormers to handle. A lot of off-speed stuff. Beaten foul, straight back, and the count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't know what to make out of it. The first half will end, and the second half will begin. In the middle of the doubleheader at York next Tuesday, we play 2 beginning at 5 o'clock. The first game is a first-half game. That's lined in a center field and a base hit, so Anderson Felice has something started for the Barnstormers with 2 outs here in the third. Trayvon Robinson will step to the plate. What's unusual about the doubleheader next Tuesday night is that while the second game is a second-half game for the Barnstormers, it will still be a first-half game for York. And York's second half will officially begin the following night in Lancaster. And you would think, not that it's going to bear out, but it's possible that the Barnstormers could have a slight advantage for the second game on Tuesday. There's a swing and a miss by Robinson. It's 0-1. I mean, if you stop to think about it, the Barnstormers are going to be far more geared up for the start of the second half, which doesn't come around for York. The Revs and the Long Island Ducks will start their second half the following night. They did not play on Thursday, the 21st of April. Here's the delivery to Robinson, off speed, and that tickles the outside corner. Now, Jeff Thompson now not throwing too many fastballs, a lot of breaking pitches, a lot of changeups as we've gotten to the third inning, and he has the Barnstormers swinging off balance. Robinson awaiting the 2-strike pitch. He will swing and miss. That is the first strikeout of the game for Jeff Thompson. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It is 5-3 Lexington.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for the
Hey kids, join the coolest club in town, the Storm Force. The Storm Force is presented by the Lancaster Barnstormers and Commonwealth Charter Academy. For only $25, kids under 12 get an entire summer of Barnstormers fun with 12 game tickets, a t-shirt and bag, the chance to go first when kids run the bases, exclusive activities, and coupons from Dutch Wonderland, Chocolate World, and more. Don't miss out on all the fun. Go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and sign up.
Isaias Tejeda, Dwight Smith Jr., and Montrell Marshall, the scheduled hitters, the middle three in the lineup for the Lexington Legends as we get to the home half of the third inning. There have only been 4 Legends batters retired out of 12 here tonight. And again, this has plagued Gann repeatedly. But they're 4 for 6 when they put the ball in play against him. We talked about all the walks, all the strikeouts that he's picked up. The walks, just an issue for Gann here tonight. He has put 4 guys on in the first 2 innings, has Gann. And it ties the most he's walked in a game all year. Ground ball, hard hit. Right there is Trace Lair, the third baseman. Pours it across the diamond and smoothly picking it up off the carpet is Cordero. Isaias Tejeda is out, just swinging early in the count. The first pitch of the at-bat. 1 down. Dwight Smith Jr. will come to the plate. Gann walked 4 in 4 innings in that start against Southern Maryland, which resulted in a 9-8 loss back on June 4. He did miss 1 start here in the month of June, and that was right after he struck out 12. First pitch just inside and ball 1 to Dwight Smith Jr., who stepped back out of the way. 5-3 our score, bottom half of the third inning. Here is the windup. Gann comes back, and he is up top with that one. 2 balls and no strikes. Cam's very intense when he's on the mound, so I don't know if I can read his body language, that he's a little bit frustrated with Tice or not. Here's a 2-0 pitch. He'll get that call. Strike 1 to the outside corner. It's 2-1. But if Gann is miffed about balls and strikes, he will typically, after his last pitch of the night, let the umpire know how he feels. Fouled straight back, and it's 2-2 with 1 out, nobody on in the lower half of the third inning. These 2 pitchers are beginning to get settled in here some. That actually bodes well more for Lexington, the team in the lead. Swing and a miss. Smith Jr. goes down. That is the 3rd strikeout for Gann, and number 74 for him on the season. Montrell Marshall steps in. He drove in a run with a ground out back in the first inning. Cordero took it to the bag, fired home, and that throw was just late, trying to get the speedy Phil Irvin. Cordero would have turned a double play probably against anybody else in the Lexington lineup. Pitch to Irvin is low. Ball 1 and no strikes. Iffy maybe with Powell or perhaps Pugh, but he would have gotten most of them on that same play, but that may be why Irvin was turned loose on it. Others might not have been. That is a strike at the knees. Marshall is level at a ball and a strike. 66 pitches down for Gann, 65 for Thompson. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Gann seems to be hitting his stride here after having such a hard time coming up with outs in the first 2 innings. 2 outs on the bases definitely helped his cause. Ball 2 is low, 2-2. Shaver nailed Geraldo on a stolen base attempt back in the first, and Irvin was cut down at third on an extra base hit back in the second inning. Both final outs. Foul ball back to the screen, and we'll continue with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the third inning. Now, Gann is starting to come back off the ropes, and the Barnstormers need him to do that because of the double hook rule here in the Atlantic League. Again, this year starters need to go 5, and you get to keep the DH the whole way. 2-2. That is cut on and missed, and Shaver immediately picks up the drop ball and applies the tag. Marshall is out, and Gann starting to find the strikeout rhythm. He has now fanned 4 of the last 7 batters. Nothing across in the bottom of the third. End of 3 here in Lexington. 5-3 in favor of the Legends.
Are you sick and tired of washers that don't use enough water or take 2 hours to clean and don't last more than a few years? Well, come into Gockenauer's in East Petersburg now and let us show you the Speed Queen commercial grade laundry. Built the old-fashioned way with warranties up to 7 full years. Gockenauer's will deliver and install your new Speed Queen, and we know you'll be fully satisfied with your purchase. Gockenauer's in East Petersburg, your hometown dealer for 73 years.
At Clipper Magazine Stadium, we have hot dogs and popcorn, peanuts, soda, and nachos. But what if, say, you are only 3 months old and mom wants to have a night out and watch the Barnstormers? Well, thanks to May Grant Obstetrics and Gynecology, the littlest of Stormer fans now have a place to go for dinner during the game. Tots can take mom to the Little Sluggers dugout behind Section 13 at the stadium for a comfortable private feeding experience. A brightly painted room with comfortable furniture and TVs tuned to the game, it is the perfect spot for baby and mom during a night at the ballpark.
Knockoffs, copycats, imitators. They all share one thing in common. They always pale in comparison next to the true original. Just like the stylish and versatile Lexus RX, the crossover that paved the way for others. And it's still the best for one simple reason. Nothing else is as good as the original. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
5 runs on 4 hits with no errors and 1 left for Lexington. The Barnstormers 3 runs on 2 hits with no errors and 4 runners left on base. Here's Trace Larry, popped to short. His first trip against right-hander Jeff Thompson, who survived walking the first 3 batters of the game. First pitch taken inside. It's ball 1 to Trace. Overall, 2 hits allowed by Thompson. He has now walked 5 and given up the 3 runs. Lair looks at a pitch upstairs. It is ball 2, 2-0. Elsewhere around the Atlantic League, the first half South champions, Gastonia, leading Wild Health 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Long Island leads Staten Island 4-2. That's in the bottom of the 4th. What do they call it? The Battle of the Belt is how they're calling that, the Belt Parkway. 5-0 High Point over Charleston through 3.5, and York leads Southern Maryland 9-0 through 2.5 innings. To Lair, he'll get the 4-pitch walk, and the Barnstormers are in business. Starting off the 4th inning, the 6th walk given up by Jeff Thompson. Jake Hoover to the plate. Hoover has hit the ball the hardest of any Barnstormer tonight. He flied out to the warning track and left back in the 2nd inning. Melvin Mercedes has an infield single and a clean base hit for Anderson Felice in the game. That Lancaster with the door open here in the top of the 4th inning. And to Hoover. That swings to the outside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1, and Jake winced. Lair has 3 steals, and they're all recent. Held at first base, Pai Tejeda. Thompson comes to the set. Lair bluffs, doesn't go, and there is a ball outside. Hoover in there at 1-1 with Dunston waiting on deck. He has walked twice. Top half of the 4th inning here in Lexington. A runner on, nobody out. To Hoover 1-1. He'll swing and miss. And Thompson has him set up at 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're starting to see a lot more strikes in this game. At one point, more than 50% of the pitches had been balls. And there are still 65 that have missed the zone. And we're just opening up the 4th inning. The pitch lined, 1 hop to Pugh at second. He will take it to the bag, throw to first to double up Hoover. So again, Jake has hit the ball harder than anybody else tonight. Thompson got out of the way of that. Pugh was cheating toward the middle. He was right there. And it's a 4 unassisted to 3 double play. Dunston will have to start the inning all over again. So once more, Jake Hoover all over a pitch. Those are the 2 hardest hit balls the Barnstormers have hit tonight, but nothing to show for it. In fact, 3 outs instead of 2. Dunston has walked twice and he has scored twice. He digs in against Thompson. The right-hander will wind, fire, and miss high. It is ball 1 on Sean. A lot of room to the right of second base for Dunston. He gets ball 2. And Thompson cannot zero in whatsoever against Sean Dunston Jr. I believe he's thrown 1 strike. 2 balls and nothing here. Lancaster down by a pair in the 4th inning. There's ball 3. Again, Dunston has that shield up over home plate. He'll keep taking walks if that's what they'll give him. Gives him an opportunity to do some running on the bases. He stole one back in the 2nd. Here's a 3-0. He's likely to be taking, and he does look at a strike. Thompson gets that one over, and it is 3-1. 2 outs, nobody on. The double play hurting the cause in this inning. Dunston will swing at the 3-1 and foul it off his foot. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Barnstormers limited to just 2 singles so far in the ball game tonight. Lancaster only 2 extra base hits in the game yesterday. And they had just a double here on Tuesday. It's 3 extra base hits for the series. First time we were here, we had 21 extra base hits in the first 2 games. And to Dunston, he'll take the 3rd walk. 7 given up by Thompson on the night. You talk about being effectively wild. Again, the Barnstormers with a runner over at first. Mercedes has walked and scored, and the last time he came around, he had an infield single that drove in Dunston from second. 2 outs and Dunston aboard. Again, decent chance that he's running. Throw goes to first. Diving back in is Dunston. The Barnstormers trailing by a pair after scoring 2 in the top of the 1st inning. Mercedes awaiting a pitch. Dunston will get another throw instead. Thompson being very cautious with the Barnstormers center fielder and premium base thief. He is 10 for 12 since coming to the Atlantic League just 3 weeks ago. And to Mercedes, it is outside. Ball 1-0 on Melvin. Thompson missing for the 37th time in this game. Mercedes has a lot of room to the right of second base. Pitch is across. Mercedes batting at 1-1. Kelly Dugan, tonight's designated hitter for the Barnstormers, waiting on deck. Five to 3, and Mercedes shortens the bunt. He takes ball 2. It's 2-1, as all of a sudden the walks are rearing their ugly heads once again in the top of the 4th inning. Dunston inching his way off first. Hasn't sensed an opportunity to go. He won't here either. Mercedes fouls it back. We go to 2-2. Barnstormers just haven't been able to bang Thompson around at all in this game. Two balls, 2 strikes to Mercedes. Dunston's going to take off. The pitch is swung on and popped up down the left field line, curling foul and out of play. So Sean will have to retreat. Mercedes will continue to bat with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 once again. We'll see if Dunston goes a second time. He doesn't. Line drive, left field, and a base hit. Up with it very quickly is Smith. Dunston will stop at second. Mercedes has his second hit of the game. 3 total for the Barnstormers, and here is Dugan, who has walked and flied out the left. Tying runs on for the Barnstormers just in the 4th inning tonight. Dunston, the runner at second. Mercedes is on at first. Here's the pitch to Kelly. That is in the dirt, knocked down by Jorgen. Ball 1, no strikes. Chance for Dugan, who has been a tremendous hitter, but with runners in scoring position over his couple of seasons with the Barnstormers, but he's a little bit cold right now in that department also. 1-0 to him here. Thompson to the plate. Dugan looks at ball 2. Andretti Cordero is on deck. Now, Thompson working toward his 8th walk of the ball game. 87 pitches already. Boy, that double play has hurt this inning. Ball 3 to Kelly Dugan. It's 3-0. 5-3, Lexington leading. The Barnstormers have drawn 2 walks this inning and hit a couple of stinging drives. Mercedes with a base hit, but Hoover a quick one-hop double play to Tillman Pugh. 3-0 to Dugan. There goes Dunston, and it will be ball 4, so Mercedes will move ahead as well. And it's again up to Andretti Cordero, who has popped the ball up twice against Jeff Thompson tonight. Thompson has just walked his 8th batter. But to this stage, he's largely gotten away with it. The Barnstormers have not gotten a big blow in this game. Cordero will get another chance. He's 2 for 14 with the bases loaded on the year. As a team, the Barnstormers not doing well in that category. They're hitting just .217. And Andretti swinging a ball pounded foul down the left field side. 0-1 on Cordero as Barnstormers crisscross back through the infield. They were going to be running on contact, but that never had a chance to stay fair. No balls and 1 strike to Andretti. Again, swinging before the first strike against a guy who's walked 3 batters in the inning. 0-1 to Cordero, and he will take a ball outside and low. The count is 1-1 on Andretti, with Dunston at third, Mercedes at second, Dugan at first. 2 gone in the inning. Jeff Thompson ready to go. Cordero will go for the 1-1 and hit a ground ball to the shortstop. Easy force play at second. And again, the Barnstormers leave runners strewn everywhere. No runs on 1 hit with no errors. 3 men left on base. Thompson able to pitch his way out of another walk-laced jam and will go to the bottom of the 4th, 5-3 Lexington.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
The Barnstormers have now left 7 runners on base here through 4 innings. They trail 5-3. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. All of a sudden, the picture is brightening for Cameron Gann. He retired the middle of the order 2 on strikes on just 12 pitches in the third inning. Now he faces Geraldo, Jorgen, and Cuevas as we go to the lower half of inning number 4. Jeff Thompson has gotten away with 8 walks in 4 innings tonight. Lancaster with 3 hits. They're all singles, 2 of them by Mercedes, and the other by Anderson Felice. Thompson is a lot like Daryl Thompson, except Daryl Thompson always throws strikes. But the pitching styles tonight, we're seeing somewhat the same. And Jeff Thompson is getting Daryl Thompson-like results on the balls that are put in play. A lot of pop-ups, a lot of opposite field fly balls. Here is Geraldo. He walked and was thrown out stealing. First time up, swing and a miss against Cameron Gann. No balls, 1 strike at the outset of the bottom half of inning 4. 5-3. Last pair of runs actually, coming home on the Irvin double. Liner caught by Cordero at first. Ends up on his knees and walking on his knees there for a split second after making the reception. 1 out. Pete Jorgen will step in. Jorgen with a walk, and he scored on that Irvin double back in the second inning. Gann was almost out of the second when Irvin got that ball to drop in down the right field line. Tillman Pugh did the same thing against Gann back in the first inning. And Irvin's other hit, his single, was also to the right side. The 4th hit was a bunt by Powell. First pitch strike in on Jorgen. Down around the knees. It is 0-1. Lights are on here at Wild Health Field. Bottom half of the 4th inning. Chopper toward the middle. Mercedes will get there. He'll fire from second base. And he has Jorgen 2 up and 2 down for Gann in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Cameron now has a very legitimate shot to get the Barnstormers through 5. He's retired 5 in a row, and he's done it fairly quickly. Here is Cesar Cuevas. He struck out looking back in the second, the first of the 4 strikeouts for Cameron here tonight. Shaver, Felice, and Robinson will step in the top half of the 5th inning. First offering is low, ball 1-0. Cuevas awaits the offering. This is lifted on the right side. Cordero is there. Andretti will take it. He has all 3 putouts in the inning in a variety of manners. And just like that, Gann is starting to sail. What happened at the outset of this game? That's a mystery. He's retired 6 in a row. He's done it on 18 pitches. And he sends us to the 5th inning tonight with the Barnstormers continuing to trail 5-3.
Like craft beers? Then the best place to be in Lancaster is Clipper Magazine Stadium. That's right, celebrate baseball or just a night with your friends at the Broken Bat Deck down the right field line. The Broken Bat features more than 20 local craft breweries, plus product from a local winery. Food including Otto's Meatballs is sold off a pub-style menu. So get together, hang out with your friends, or make some new ones. Enjoy a night of craft beer sampling along with a Barnstormers game.
Get out of the heat and dive into the sea this summer with Disney's Little Mermaid at Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. Join Ariel on her adventure from the sea through the human world. Based off a 1989 animated film, Disney's Little Mermaid will keep kids young and old entertained. Performances are Tuesday through Sunday with matinee and evening show options available. Each performance also includes a buffet-style meal prior to the show. Call Dutch Apple Dinner Theater at 717-898-1900 or visit us at DutchApple.com to reserve your tickets today.
Colton Shaver, Anderson Felice, and Trayvon Robinson are scheduled to face Jeff Thompson as we get to the top half of the 5th inning tonight. Thompson has to be coming near the end of the road. He's thrown 92 pitches. And if he walks many more here in the fifth inning, P.J. Phillips might not be able to get him through the required 5 innings. Shaver will lead off. He is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run batted in. His 39th knocked in on the season. Number 38 was a heck of a lot more dramatic than number 39. A 2-out, 2-strike home run to tie the game in the 9th inning yesterday. To Shaver, that's a cross for a strike from Thompson, and the Barnstormers now are not seeing much with any kind of velocity to it. They've got to make the adjustment. Ball is high. Thompson working at 1H, whereas Gann threw virtually everything in the last inning, a fastball, 90-92. Thompson throwing a bunch of those. Shaver gets out of the way, and it is 2 balls and 1 strike. Thompson, his fastball is, well, not all that fast. He has thrown nothing really resembling a fastball here for a couple of innings. Fouled away by Shaver, and it is 2-2. He's been all over the place, topping out around 83 miles an hour. We compared him with his namesake, Darryl Thompson, and that's what Darryl does whenever he faces the Barnstormers. Gets him to miss-hit the ball. Here is the 2-2. Shaver looks at that and gets ball 3. It will fill the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Jeff Thompson is up to 97 pitches. He's facing the leadoff batter in the 5th inning. Here's the payoff. The Shaver swung on line to left field, and Colton has a leadoff base hit. Going deep to cut it off is Smith, but Shaver will hold it first for a leadoff single, the 4th Barnstormer hit of the night, and arguably the loudest. Here is Felice, who's 1 for 2 with a run batted in. Now, Lancaster will try to build off having the leadoff man on. 3rd time they've done it in the game. First time Dunston scored. 2nd time, Lair reached on a walk, and Jake Hoover followed with a very quick double play. Felice will take a strike. It is 0-1. I mean, Jeff Thompson proving that you don't have to blow hitters away to get them out. And the Barnstormers would really be having their hands full tonight were it not for the walks. 0-1. Felice looks at another in the zone, and very quickly it is 0-2. Colton Shaver, the base runner, nobody out in the 5th inning as the Barnstormers try to fight back from a 2-run deficit. Cameron Gann has hit a pretty good stride for Lancaster. Here's the 0-2, swing and a miss. And Felice goes down on 3 pitches, bringing on Trayvon Robinson, who's 0 for 2. Melvin Mercedes, I think, has the idea. He has 2 hits against Thompson. He's not trying to pull the ball. Despite the slow speed, you'd think you would be able to pull the ball. You've got to wait back here. Robinson stands in, and the pitch to Trayvon is fouled back. No balls and a strike. 1 out, 1 on here in the top of the 5th inning. The Barnstormers have not been able to generate much in the way of offense. 1 out of 5 with runners in scoring position. They only have 1 RBI hit in the game, and that was an infield single for Mercedes. Up the middle, flagged by Pugh. To Robinson, it doesn't quite get back to the outer edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thompson needs to pick up 2 more outs to preserve the DH. How high will his pitch count get in the effort? 1-1 to Robinson. That floats across at the letters for strike 2. The Barnstormers need to make up their minds here. They're not going to see what you would traditionally consider a fastball. The fastest thing thrown by Thompson was the pitch he gave up the single on that came in at 83.7. 1-2 to Trayvon. He'll back away. Trace Lair waits on deck. Hits are even at 4 each. The Barnstormers have drawn 8 walks, but they trail 5-3. Robinson swings and misses, and that's 2 in a row now for Jeff Thompson, who has 3 for the ball game. Lair will step in. He has popped out and he has walked. It's almost like trying to hit a knuckleball realistically. A harder knuckleball, perhaps. Shaver still at first base, now with 2 outs as Thompson fights back off the ropes here. Lair takes a pitch upstairs. It is ball 1 and no strikes. Jeff Thompson likely to come out after this 5th inning. His pitch count now notably over 100. Lair will take a strike. That one at the letters, and it's 1-1. The Barnstormers' bats have not produced a whole lot here tonight. Lair goes after the 1-1, hits a pop fly off to the first base side. That is bound for the seats. It hops back out into the first base dugout, but Lair now bats 1-2. Now compare this to the last time that Thompson took the hill. He gave up 4 home runs to the Wild Health Genomes in his start back on June the 21st. He has pitched in relief in between, a long relief stint. Tonight, the Barnstormers unable to square anything up. Getting a steady diet of breaking balls here. Shaver leads off first, 1-2, and Lair goes down swinging. 3 strikeouts in a row against left-handed batters, and Thompson is through the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on will go to the bottom of the 5th. Lexington leads by a score of 8-4.
Hi everyone, Adam Gochnauer from Gochnauer Appliances, and I'm excited to tell you about a new addition to the Gochnauers family this summer season. We are now selling Titus gas grills. Titus gas grills gives you a high quality, all stainless steel grill at an affordable price, and the best thing is you can assemble it yourself in just 5 minutes. That's right, 5 minutes. Stop by to see this great grill now and mention this ad to receive a free gas grill cover with your Titus grill purchase. Gochnauers in East Petersburg.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Off's Excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Cameron Gann will work the bottom of the 5th inning against the top of the Lexington batting order. It will be Powell, Pugh, and Irvin stepping in for the Legends. Gann's given up 4 hits, 5 runs in 4 innings. He's retired 6 in a row. All of a sudden, the issues that plagued him earlier in this game seem to have gone away, and Cameron Gann is pitching like we know Cameron is capable of. Ball hasn't left the infield in those 6 batters. Powell is perfect tonight, and he scored 2 runs. He has an infield single and a walk. The infield single, bunt single, technically. Throw goes through from Colton Shaver. He's claimed a victim in this game. Again, tomorrow night, the start of the 4th of July holiday weekend, we turn a calendar page, and the Barnstormers will also change identities and become the Lebanon Iron Masters for the next 3 games. Gear is available. Make sure you stop by the gift shop to buy it, the team store, however you want to phrase it. Foul ball back toward the press box and close. No balls and 1 strike, the count to Powell. Missed his target, the public address announcer, by 2 or 3 feet right there. Next delivery is in too close, and it is ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. The count on Powell. Next delivery, fouled away. Gann works ahead of Powell at a ball and 2 strikes. Lexington up by 2, bottom of the 5th inning. Gann has been able to keep the pitch counts down the last couple of innings. He's got a chance to preserve the DH. Thompson's already done it. Powell now reaches down, drives the ball right center field, and that one will stay in the yard, but extra bases. Powell will settle into second with a leadoff double here in the 5th inning. That didn't look like a bad pitch at all from Gann. Powell able to go down and get that one. Think Kirk Gibson against Dennis Eckersley, and you get the idea. Though ultimately of a lot less consequence here. Tillman Pugh will be the batter. He has doubled home a run with a ground rule double down the right field line. He has also struck out. So Gann finds trouble here in the 5th inning as the Legends unload their 3rd double of the evening. Powell leads off second. Gann to Pugh, and that is taken to deep right. Back on this goes Felice, and he'll have to take it off the wall. It'll be a long single, but coming around to score is Powell, and it's now 6-3. Back-to-back pitches hammered off the outfield wall on the right side. And the Legends are up by 3 here in the 5th inning. And that brings on Irvin, who has hit a couple of line drives to the right side. He is 2 for 2 with 3 runs batted in. 6-3, Lexington ahead in the bottom of the 5th. Now, the Barnstormers were ahead 7-1 at this stage yesterday and watched the Legends roar back. The Barnstormers have it doesn't even have to be a similar rally in them. Ball 1 is outside to Irvin, make it 1-0. Well, those are a couple of shots off the right field walls here in the 5th inning. Pugh has a single, a double, a couple of runs batted in. It's the top of the order tonight. It was the bottom of the order yesterday. And the Barnstormers all time against the Legends here at Wild Health Field, 2-6. And they've given up double digits in all 6 of the losses. Gann delivers a strike in on Irvin. And the count to the right fielder goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. The ball generally travels pretty well here. The Barnstormers simply have not been able to take advantage of that. Certainly not tonight when the wind is purely blowing out. They did hit the home run in the 9th yesterday. Line drive, that'll be gloved by Mercedes. Quick throw to first, and they will double up Pugh. Again, a hard hit ball to the right side by Phillip Irvin. But the result here is a double play as Pugh couldn't get back in time. That ball was nailed, and Mercedes got rid of it quickly. 2 outs, nobody on, and here is Isaias Tejeda. He is 0 for 2 with a fly ball to right and a grounder to third. Hoover, Dunston, and Mercedes will step in the top of the 6th inning. Mercedes coming up with the big play defensively. And he's made sure he's securing the line drives before trying to throw them. Because he did miss one the other night. Ball is high on Tejeda. It's 1-0. 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th. Lexington has its biggest lead of the game, now up by 3. Breaking ball is there. And Tejeda bats at 1-1. 6 hits to 4, 6 runs to 3. The Barnstormers have not been able to make much out of the 8 walks given up by the starter Jeff Thompson. And it's a drive foul down the right side by Tejeda. Will go to 1-2. The Barnstormers likely to be facing a much harder thrower in the 6th inning. And that begs the question, will they make that adjustment? as Thompson was topping out in the 83s on his fastball. Here's a 1-2. Fastball upstairs. Gann working to Tejeda at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it's been a very successful night for the right-handed hitters toward the top of the order for this Legends ball club, going to the opposite field. 2-2 pitch. That is low. Gann has filled the count on Tejeda. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lexington up 6-3 as we play the bottom half of inning number 5. Getaway night here in Lexington, Kentucky. The Barnstormers heading home, and they will be home for a while. There are no more hotel stays for this team for 4 weeks. 3-2 is on the way. Tejeda is crowded, and he will draw a walk. That is the 5th issued by Gann. And Dwight Smith Jr. will come to the plate. He has walked and struck out. The Barnstormers, with the great win at Long Island on Sunday, and then the thriller here Tuesday, and a 7-1 lead in the 6th inning yesterday, it looked like the team was about to get on a roll. But again, the flat tires keep happening. And it's been going on for 3 years. Every time you think a Barnstormers team is about to get hot, all of a sudden the air comes completely out. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is chased pretty badly by Smith, and Gann has him at no balls and 2 strikes. So now Lexington has, over the span of ultimately 10 innings now, outscored the Barnstormers 16-6. That's high, and the count is 1-2. So it's an awful lot of offense put together by Lexington with a variety of ways. They've stolen bases, they've had extra base hits, they've drawn a fair number of walks, but more than anything else, they've hit with runners in scoring position. Here's a 1-2. He got him, a swing and a miss. Down goes Smith. And for Gann, strikeout number 5 in the evening. I don't know if Cam's going to come back out for the 6th inning or not. We'll see. It's a run, 2 hits with no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're at the end of 5. The Barnstormers are still lurking. It is Lexington 6 and Lancaster 3.
It's no longer about answering the most emails or pulling the most all-nighters. It's about prioritizing what's most important.
Hey Lexus, give me directions to Eagles Peak Hiking Trail. Calculating route.
That's why the Lexus NX has an interface engineered to understand you and an available 14-inch touchscreen that's simpler and more intuitive. The Lexus NX. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
Availability and accuracy of navigation system depends on many factors. Data charges may apply.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for the
Well, the Barnstormers will face a lefty out of the bullpen as Henry Owens takes over in the top of the 6th inning. A former Boston Red Sox southpaw on in relief of Jeff Thompson, who threw 109 pitches in 5 innings, but he finished off his work tonight with 3 consecutive strikeouts. Those were numbers 2 through 4 for him. He gave up 4 hits, all singles, and walked 8 while striking out 4. And Hoover, Dunston, and Mercedes will step in against the 6'6" Owens. here in the 6th inning. Henry Owens on the season is 0-2, and his ERA is very high. It's 9.57. 26 in the 3rd innings, 35 hits. He's walked 17, so his whip is just shy of 2. And he has struck out 28. 6-3 ball game. The Barnstormers will try here to do some damage against Owens. They have been able to handle him before this year. The left-hander ready to go to work to Hoover, who is a very loud 0-2. And here he slices a ball out to right field. Racing in is Irvin, and Hoover is denied a 3rd time. He can't get anything to fall tonight. 0-1 for Hoover and the Barnstormers here in the 6th inning. The batter will be Dunston, who has walked 3 times. Lancaster got to Owens for 5 runs in 1 inning back on June the 10th. They had a highly successful 7th inning against them. The big blow was a triple by a guy who's no longer around, Denicher Carrasco. Dunston also had a triple off of him. 1 out, Dunston just trying to reach base here. What a frustrating night for Hoover. Breaking ball past everything and rolling away from Jorgen. It is ball 1 and no strikes. Apparently, we have completely abandoned even the notion of somebody running on that. The catchers don't even bother to go after them anymore. Ball 1, no strikes. Dunston will see a strike, and he's wondering what that is. After 3 straight walks, 2 runs scored, he has a stolen base. Very good on-base percentage for Dunston as a Barnstormer, although it has dropped some in this series. 1-1, fastball is outside. 2 balls and a strike on Dunston. Mercedes on deck. He, too, has been perfect. In fact, the top 3 in the Barnstormers' batting order have reached 8 out of 9 trips tonight. And Lancaster has not taken advantage of it. To Dunston, slapped the short. 1 hop to Cuevas, and Dunston is retired. 6-3. We have 2 outs. And that will bring on Melvin Mercedes, who is 2 for 2 with a run scored and a run batted in. Everybody scattered after the game last night. I was walking around downtown, and I'd see a couple of guys here, a couple of guys there in my travels. I actually went to the movies last night. Sometimes a night off on the road can be a good thing. Inside to Melvin, ball 1-0. Well, the Barnstormers have gotten a couple of good swings in against Owens, but this just is one of those nights, I guess. Trailing by 3 with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Melvin Mercedes ahead in the count, 1-0. He's had a very good night at the plate and in the field. He will take a pitch low as we get to 2-0. Kelly Dugan, the designated hitter, waiting on deck for the Barnstormers. Owens is not a hard thrower at this stage of his career either. Harder than Thompson, but only in the upper 80s. Melvin Mercedes bats 2-0, and the pitch is driven foul to the right side and out of play. We go to 2-1. Well, the Barnstormers have just a handful of games left before the second half bell rings. And it rings in between games of the doubleheader on Tuesday, which is really bizarre. Barnstormers in York will play game 1 at 5 o'clock, and that's game 66 of the first half for the Barnstormers. Mercedes drops down and lifts a pop-up up the third base line. That will be easy for Geraldo. Lancaster goes down 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. We're through 5.5. Lexington leading by the score of 6-3.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Cameron Gann is out after 5 innings tonight. He gives up 6 hits, 6 runs. All of those were earned. He walked 5, struck out 5, and was charged with a wild pitch. And it will be Brett Clark taking over in the 6th inning for the Barnstormers. Clark, the losing pitcher yesterday, but I think he threw either 1 or 2 pitches, and it was over. The run charged to him was unearned, as Geraldo, the courtesy runner, came across on the single by Cuevas. And now Clark, who is durable, he has proven it, comes out tonight here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Brett has, in his last 12 innings, given up 4 runs but only 1 earned on 9 hits, and he's thrown as many as 5 2/3 innings of relief in an appearance. Well, he should be out there for a while. The DH is protected. It'll be Montrell Marshall, the Lexington DH, leading off this 6th inning. At the end of 2 innings, you really couldn't even fathom either DH getting to stick around, as Gann and Thompson had run up incredible pitch counts over the first 2 frames, but they got through it. Gann on 92 pitches, Thompson 109. Marshall will lead off. He is 0 for 2 with a run batted in. He struck out the second time up after driving in a run with a ground ball the first time. Clark with a fastball, he's there. It is 0-1. Ross Peoples looking forward to whatever day it is that he can get his bullpen lined up. Bouncer foul, and very quickly 0-2 on Marshall. He just hasn't been able to do it. Part of it's the starting pitching. If the starters can go 6 or 7, his job becomes a lot easier. If the starters go 5 or fewer, it becomes difficult. Swing and a miss. Marshall is gone on 3 pitches. Clark striking out the first man he faces. Now here is Geraldo, who has walked and hit a sizzling liner right at Cordero. 1 out, nobody on here in the 6th inning. But it's also the fact that the Barnstormers have not had their 8th and 9th inning relievers for quite some time. They haven't had Schumann for now better than a month and a half. Outside, and that is ball 1 on Geraldo. I've expected to see Schumann in this series, but we haven't. He is active. And they haven't had Josh Graham for about 3 weeks. And everything's unsettled. Called strike to the outside corner, 1-1. But the end of this half is, to some extent, reminiscent of 2015. I keep going back to that. The Barnstormers lost game after game in the late innings down the stretch in 15. They ended up 28-42 in that first half. Does that sound familiar? As the Barnstormers are right about there for a winning percentage. A little bit ahead, but not much. And then the second half came around. It was a little bit of a slow go. High fly ball left center field, and this one could go away. Sprinting back is Dunston, and Sean is going to have to take this one off the wall. Racing into second is Geraldo, and he has the one-out double. He arrives in scoring position with his 9th two-base hit. And again, an extra base hit for the Lexington Legends tonight. Their 4th double in 5 1/3 innings. They were playing a lot of wall ball. The folks in York would be very happy with this. That they don't have anything that's 37.5 feet high here, not even close. Might be 15, 16 feet out in right field and around actually through the batter's eye, and then it's a very short wall out in left. Here is Jorgen, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. The pitch is across, that is strike one. 6-3, the Legends leading. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning tonight. The Barnstormers haven't been able to hit for any power whatsoever. It's another one of those nights. And it is just like when they faced Darryl Thompson. Jeff Thompson, despite all the walks, had the same mesmerizing effect on the Lancaster hitters. 1-1, and Jorgen has to spin out of the way. He's had a tough series health-wise. He got knocked out of the game here on Tuesday on a sequence of events. It looked like he got spiked on a slide into the plate and then got nailed by a foul tip in the next inning. And he decided it was time to hang it up for the night, and I couldn't blame him. 2-1 to him. Clark will deliver. That's a swing. 2-2. Jorgen could not hold up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cesar Cuevas waits on deck. I think now that we've finally gotten to the 3rd game of this series, I'm no longer giving him the Andorra treatment. 2-2. Clark will deliver. That is fouled off to the right and out of play. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our game dragging again tonight. We have had a tremendous amount of baseball. In the last 5 game days, the Barnstormers have played nearly 20 hours worth. Here is the set. There's a swing and a miss. Down goes Jorgen. Clark strikes out his 2nd. That's 7 strikeouts for the Barnstormers tonight. They're still averaging better than 10 strikeouts a game for the last 17. Cesar Cuevas will step in. 0 for 2 as he's had to remove the Superman cape tonight, but boy, did he have it on yesterday. And the best part about what Cuevas did yesterday, the most impressive thing, is that he hit those 3 run-producing singles to 3 different fields. Great day for the youngster. 2 outs. The runner Geraldo at 2nd, and Clark is over but low. Ball 1, no strikes. Kelly Dugan, Andretti Cordero, and Colton Shaver will bat in the 7th. Cordero, with that long streak in jeopardy tonight, 18 games in a row. He has a base hit when playing a defensive position, but he's 0 for 3 in this one. Breaking ball gets to the inner corner, and Cuevas bats at 1 ball, 1 strike. 7 hits to 4. The doubles have largely been the difference for the Legends. The Barnstormers have drawn 8 walks, and they have 4 singles to show for their efforts. Swing and a miss. Brushed it foul. And Clark is ahead of Cuevas at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brett Clark, who has not pitched in a major league organization, joining Donald Goodson in that category out of the Lancaster bullpen. A current variety anyway, Tyler Laporte, if you want to consider him in that bullpen as well, but he's been hurt for a while. He has not pitched in a major league system. And on the starting staff, Niall Ball, slashed foul to the right. Cuevas continues to bat at 0-2. And Niall Ball has no background in a major league system. Augie Silk does. It was brief with the Kansas City Royals. Clark has been a very good pickup for the Barnstormers because of the durability. He's been able to pick up a lot of innings. There's a topper left side. It will go through to Hoover. Jake's got to throw on the run, and it is there in time for the final out. Cuevas retired 6-3. Clark successfully gets through the bottom of the sixth inning. One hit, one man left on base. And we'll head to the seventh and the final third of our ball game tonight, at least in terms of regulation play. 6-3 in favor of Lexington.
Get out of the heat and dive under the sea this summer with Disney's Little Mermaid at Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. Join Ariel on her adventure from the sea through the human world. Based off the 1989 animated film, Disney's Little Mermaid will keep kids young and old entertained. Performances are Tuesday through Sunday with matinee and evening show options available. Each performance also includes a buffet-style meal prior to the show. Call Dutch Apple Dinner Theater at 717-898-1900 or visit us at DutchApple.com to reserve your tickets today.
Being over 55 does not mean a ticket, it means 10 with the Silver Stormers Club presented by the Lancaster Barnstormers and Audiology Associates of Lancaster. Anyone 55 and over can enjoy baseball action at every Tuesday home game for only $50 on the season. That is nearly a 70% savings. Members also receive a special Silver Stormers t-shirt to wear proudly at the stadium. For more information or to sign up, go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and look in the season tickets section.
6 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and only 3 left for the Legends. The Barnstormers with 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 8 runners left on base. And the reason those numbers are where they are, the base on balls. The starter, Jeff Thompson, walked 8, including 4 of the first 5 batters of the game, and he fell behind 2-0 in the top of the first. But the Legends came out swinging the bats tonight and put 3 runs on the board against Gann in the bottom of the first before you could blink. Here is Kelly Dugan. He is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks tonight. He flied to left in between the 2 free passes. Owens, the lefty, ready to go, and Dugan will take a pitch upstairs. It is ball 1-0. Cordero and Shaver will follow. The Barnstormers need to play from 3 behind. This club has had a hard time against lefty relievers. To Dugan, long breaking ball, doesn't get there. 2-0. Now, yesterday, the Barnstormers succeeded against a lefty starter. That's not been the issue. Lefty relievers have been the issue. Owens has retired all 3 he's faced so far. 2 balls, no strikes to Dugan. He'll take a walk to get something started here. The pitch right there on an Owens fastball. And he made sure he got that one in the zone. 2-1 to the Barnstormers' designated hitter. Dugan has done well as the DH, coming into tonight hitting .353 with 4 homers. It hasn't affected him. 2-1, and Owens to the plate. Kelly swings and misses there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cordero on deck, then Shaver. We'll see if the Barnstormers can initiate any kind of a rally. Owens peers in to get the sign. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The kick, and Dugan looks at ball 3 just outside. Owens thought he had it. He was ready to see the ball be pegged around the diamond. Kelly Dugan stays in there with a count of 3-2. Dugan has not done a lot of damage in this series. He doesn't have an RBI. He doesn't have an extra base hit. And that could make Owens a little freer to challenge him here. There are times you don't want to do that at all with Kelly. 3-2. to the leadoff batter in the Barnstormers half of the 7th inning. Here is the payoff pitch, and it is ball 4. Dugan able to hold up on the swing as the breaking ball was outside and low. So he didn't come right after him. The Barnstormers draw their 9th walk of the night. Cordero will step in. He's 0 for 3. Man on for the Barnstormers. It is a start, even if it is another walk. The season high in terms of drawing walks for the Barnstormers is 11, and that came in the home opener, the 23-7 rout of the York Revolution. Dugan out to a lead. Owens facing Cordero, and to Andretti. That ball is driven down the left field line, but again foul. It's the second plate appearance in a row where Cordero has made very strong contact on the first pitch, but he's yanked it foul. Last time he ended up grounding into a force out with the bases loaded to close the top of inning 4 after a driving one foul. Owens comes back at 0-1. Cordero fouls this off to the right, and it is 0-2. The Barnstormers they really haven't been able to drive anything in between the lines tonight. Hoover has gotten the closest to the outfield wall with a fly ball back in the 2nd inning. A lot of routine outs against the Barnstormers hitters in this game. Cordero bats 0-2. Dugan a very short lead off of first. And Owens will work to the plate, and there's the line drive to the shortstop, and they're going to throw across and double up Dugan. He caught it before it touched down. So that is another double play, the second turn in the game, and no matter what the Barnstormers do, they can't pick up any steam in this game. Colton Shaver will step in. He is 1 for 2 with a walk and an RBI. But you sort of read the tea leaves all the way back in the first inning when the Barnstormers drew 4 walks, got a break when Cuevas, the shortstop, had what appeared to be a brain cramp, and still only scored 2 runs out of the deal. 2 are gone here, and Shaver will look at a fastball up and in. Ball 1, no strike. So a leadoff walk leads to nothing. Dugan simply got caught in no man's land. There was nothing he could do there. Cuevas able to catch the ball before it touched down. You have to start to try and break up a double play on something hit like that. Shaver goes after a pitch in the dirt, a swing and a miss, and it is 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the Barnstormers looking at a 4-8 road trip. They have split the last 2 series before this one, and they were up 1-0. There's a swing and a miss. They were up 1-0 and had a huge lead yesterday. That got away, and tonight the club is flat. They're flat. 2 outs, nobody on base. Shaver batting at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Henry Owens into his motion. There's a breaking ball, and Shaver is able to swing late and fight it off. Still 1-2. Defense straight away. Yesterday was only the 4th time all year that the Barnstormers have lost a game when they have scored 6 or more runs. More often than not, they're able to hold on to those games. Yesterday just imploded. Here's a 1-2. Shaver hits this in the air off to the right side, and that will carry off the playing surface. We continue at 1-2 on the Barnstormers catcher. At Lexington able to hit for power tonight. We haven't seen any out of the Barnstormers. And sometimes all those walks can simply lull you to sleep. And that seems more than anything else what has happened in this game. 1-2 pitch. That's inside and low. The Barnstormers have faced 132 pitches here tonight. They have thrown 110. And so many out of the strike zone to the Barnstormers in this game. Colton Shaver batting at 2-2. Owens ready to go. He'll kick. He'll bring it home, and it's ball 3. Shaver at a full count again. He's seen a lot of those in this series. They're trying to pick around the edges to him. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 7th inning. This is game 61 for the Barnstormers. They still have a plus run differential for the season and very much a plus OPS. High fly ball out to right. Again, nothing to it, and Irvin will make the catch. It ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody is left. Time for the 7th inning stretch with the score 6-3 Lexington.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
They say to truly understand someone, you must walk a mile in their shoes. Well, at Lexus, we designed the ES with you in mind every step of the way. From class-leading legroom in the back to positioning the touchscreen 4 inches closer to you in the front. Everything in the Lexus ES, a direct reflection of you. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
2022 ES versus 2021-2022 competitors. Information from manufacturers' websites as of 5/3/2021.
For the youth of our area, the Barnstormers are offering a wide variety of camps throughout the summer to teach everyone some tips on baseball and softball. Camps are offered to kids as young as 4 and as old as 12. Some even involve the parents. They run from June 11th all the way through September 17. For more information, go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and click on the Youth Baseball tab. All presented by Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster and Play It Again Sports.
Second inning of work for Brett Clark here tonight, and Russ might ride him the rest of the way. That is entirely possible. At 5 2/3 inning stint was against Southern Maryland back on the 4th of June. And he ended up allowing a run, but that was actually after he came out of the game. He had thrown 5 2/3 shutout innings, but left a runner out there, and that runner scored. Here is Boog Powell. He has scored 3 runs tonight. He's been the igniter. He has a bunt single, a walk, and a double, and he's come home to score each time. He'll be followed by Pugh and Irvin, and they both had solid nights. This is where the runs have come in the Lexington batting order. The motion, Brett Clark to the plate. Powell will take a strike. It is 0-1. Brett gave up a 1-out double to Manuel Geraldo last inning, struck out 2, and got a grounder, a slow grounder out of Cuevas. It is low. Ball 1, strike 1. Where was that slow ground ball yesterday? Although that could have just prolonged the agony because it would have sent the runner to third. Driven foul to the left. Powell is at 1-2. Powell has actually reached base 4 straight plate appearances. He had one of the critical hits in the comeback for the Legends yesterday, a 2-run bloop double to left on a ball that hopped away from Dugan. This is lashed to short and picked off the carpet by Hoover. He will air it out, demonstrating his arm for whoever's watching. Powell is retired 6-3, 1 out, and the batter will be Tillman Pugh. He has a pair of runs batted in tonight. The man on deck, Philip Irvin, has 3. Keep wanting to call him Sam Irvin. That was what the prosecutor in Watergate. 1 out, nobody aboard in the bottom of the 7th. Felice, Robinson, and Lair slated for the Barnstormers in the 8th, and they may still be facing Owens, who's thrown 2 innings and faced just 6 batters. Clark hits Pugh, and a runner heads down to first base. Grazed him in the arm as he spun out of the way, and that gives the Legends a 1-out base runner and their fans here on Thursday something to grouse about. Irvin will step in. He has hit 3 BBs. He was locked in to Gann. He went the opposite way each time. An RBI single in the first, a 2-run double down the right field line in the second, and then a line drive double play, which was sent screaming right at Melvin Mercedes. Pugh had no chance to get back. 1 out, 1 on. Clark will deal. The runner goes. Shaver's throw is in good shape. The tag is applied, and he is out. Colton Shaver gets a second victim tonight, 2-4, as Pugh is thrown out stealing for the first time this season. 2 men down and a 1-ball, no-strike count on Phil Irvin here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Barnstormers have to find a way to rally tonight. They've won only once all year when they have trailed after the 7th inning. To Irvin, a ball is low, and it's now a 2-0 count. Two balls and no strikes. Clark is away, and Irvin's up there at 3-0 with Isaias Tejeda waiting on deck. Lexington 6, Lancaster 3, playing the 7th inning. And the offering is high, ball 4. Clark giving up a rare walk. His control has kind of gotten away from him a little here in the 7th inning. It's 2-out runner, and Tejeda will step in. We have now seen 15 walks in tonight's game. The pace has greatly picked up since the first 2 innings took better than an hour. Two outs. Irvin, the runner here. In the bottom of the 7th inning, we might see him take off. He has stolen his 17th of the season. Tejeda swings and misses. It is 0-1. He chased after a Clark breaking ball there. Lancaster down by 3. The offense is sluggish. We've seen the Barnstormers with games on this road trip where they hit a bunch of home runs. There's a line drive, left center field. Racing in is Robinson to make the catch. Trayvon Robinson snagging the liner by Isaias Tejeda. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We're through 7 here in Lexington, and the Legends lead it by the score of 6-3.
This season offers a whole line of new items from Otto's Hospitality. Dig into the world-famous Nathan's Hot Dogs. Take a trip to Otto's Cantina for a walking taco or your favorite adult beverage. Enjoy a helmet of Otto's meatballs or a sausage with peppers from the Broken Bat Deck. For the sweet tooth, there are jumbo chocolate chip cookies, Skyline cotton candy, and ice cream novelties. Or simply snack on Emma's popcorn in a variety of exciting flavors. What a great way to savor your time at the ballpark, courtesy of Otto's.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for the
Another lefty has come on for the Legends as we go to the top of the 8th inning. It is Winston Lavandier. We saw him for an inning and a third back on Tuesday. And the Barnstormers got nobody on. The same was true of Daniel Gibson in that game. The Barnstormers were able to win it in the 11th inning against a right-hander. Felice will likely still be in left-handed. He's going to be. It hasn't hurt him. He's actually 4 for 8 batting left on left. Trayvon Robinson will turn around and bat from the right side, and then you get Lair, another lefty. Ladarius Clark is available to come on off the bench, but you would probably, down by 3, here in the late innings, wait for a situation where you already have a runner or two on base before you would bring him on. You'd like to have Clark perhaps up there with a chance to tie the game in the late innings, but you've got to get the runners there to begin with. Lavendier, a Californian, 6'2", 225 pounds, 29 years of age. And Felice will step in to lead it off against him. Lavendier is 3-4. His ERA 3.9, 32 and a third innings, 40 hits. Get this, 34 runs, but only 14 earned. How is that even possible? 14 walks, 30 strikeouts, unless he has walked around insulting all of his infielders. Felice, kind of a half-hearted swing there and a foul ball back. It is 0-1. How do you give up 34 runs and only have 14 of them be earned? I mean, that's just awful defense. It's got to be a whole bundle of errors, one would think. Or one or two really big ones. And the runs keep coming afterwards. Ball high and inside. 1-1, the count on Felice. Trayvon Robinson, the switch hitter, waiting on deck. He's had a tough night. The Barnstormers in general have had a tough night. The ball is not jumping off the bats. Here's a 1-1. Fastball is high. Felice batting at 2 balls and a strike. When I mentioned the guys were scattered about last night, it was an entire evening off. Got back to the hotel around 4:15, somewhere in there. 2-1. And Lexington has a very vibrant downtown area. Of course, it's a college town. And it's not just the University of Kentucky, by the way. There's a much smaller college you may have heard of here, Transylvania University. And while you're tempted to ask, what's the field of study there? Hematology. But no, it actually predates all of the Bram Stoker, all the whole Dracula legend. Fastball is low, and it is a full count to Felice. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Transylvania simply means across the woods. Literal translation. So it has nothing to do with the Dracula thing. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Foul ball back. And that is a beautiful campus. The road between the stadium and our hotel, and it's a straight shot in, US 68 here. But it goes right through the campus. And it was a beautiful walk back yesterday. I made that walk. Here's a 3-2. Felice goes down swinging. Now he is fanned for the second straight time now. Owens worked 2 innings, walked 1, nothing else. And Lavendier starts off with a strikeout. 1 away. Robinson will step in. He is 0 for 3. So it is now less than 120 hours before the bell rings for the second half. And the Barnstormers have got to come out swinging because they play the first half of that half in Pennsylvania. They don't travel. They don't leave. There's no excuse for a bus lag or anything else coming up over the next few weeks. 26 straight games, either in Lancaster or York. Here's a 1-0. Robinson with a ground ball left side, easily managed by Geraldo, and that is 2 outs here in the 8th. It will bring on Lair, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Barnstormers have got to get off to a flying start in the second half. I don't think there's any way around it. They're not going to be able to come back if they trail when they go on the road for 21 out of 24 down the stretch. It's not just playing 26 in a row. It's 38 out of 41 coming up in Pennsylvania. A 3-game trip to Staten Island, and they're right back in Lancaster for 12 more, 9 at home, 3 in York. The pitch, a fastball high and wide to Lair. Ball 1, no strike. 6-3 ball game here. The Barnstormers have just 4 outs left of them tonight, and they have not had a base hit since Colton Shaver's leadoff single back in the 5th inning. Here is the next delivery. Breaking ball is there, and it is 1-1. And the Barnstormers have actually dropped into the second half in the league in batting. They're now 6th. They're in the bottom half. And that probably will have to be answered also. 1-1. Lair chops this to first. Easy play for Tejeda. The Barnstormers go down very quietly here in the top half of the 8th inning. They have one shot left. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, 6-3 in favor of Lexington.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for the
Hey kids, join the coolest club in town, the Storm Force. The Storm Force is presented by the Lancaster Barnstormers and Commonwealth Charter Academy. For only $25, kids under 12 get an entire summer of Barnstormers fun with 12 game tickets, a t-shirt and bag, the chance to go first when kids run the bases, exclusive activities, and coupons from Dutch Wonderland, Chocolate World, and more. Don't miss out on all the fun. Go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and sign up.
So here is Scott Schumann. We finally get to see him. It's the first time since the 12th of May that Scott has been in a ball game, and this is a good opportunity for him. You really didn't want to see him in trying to close out a ball game and airing it out at 95 to 97 miles per hour in that first appearance. Last time he took the hill was against Long Island back on May 12th. He gave up a base hit, struck out one, and earned his 4th save of the year. He has an 0-1 record. He lost an extra inning game at High Point. 4 saves, but of course that run is unearned, so his ERA is 0. He's allowed 3 hits and 2 walks. He has struck out 6 in his work this season. By certain standards, the best reliever in Atlantic League history over a longer haul. Andres Briseño, if he sticks around another year or two at Southern Maryland, might have something to say about that. The patterns are somewhat similar. It's Schumann, and the familiar number 9 is out there. 6'3", right-hander from Valdosta, Georgia, though he spends some of his off seasons now working up in North Jersey and in the Lehigh Valley as well. So we're beginning to smell rain, and my laptop says rain is imminent, and rain is imminent because it has begun to fall here at Wild Health Field. It's not a hard rain at this point. We'll try to play through it. That's all we need to slow down the trip home tonight is precipitation, and we really weren't expecting any. Here is Dwight Smith Jr., first batter to face Schumann in 7 weeks now, 49 days since Scott last appeared in a game. He's missed a couple of road trips and has been able to go down to Wilmington and watch his brother pitch. His brother Seth, now in the Nationals organization. He started with Oakland, got traded last year. Schumann is ready to go. The first pitch to Smith is over but high, and ultimately that's not surprising. Ball 1-0. Schumann, the all-time Atlantic League leader in both ERA and strikeouts per 9 innings. The strikeouts aren't coming as regularly this year. They weren't early on. He's been out with a strained muscle in his forearm, though. He misses inside and low. It is ball 2, and the count is 2-0. But it was a while before he could even get back and play long toss, and then it took a while longer before he could throw off of a mound. 2-0 pitch. That is rifled foul. Smith got way ahead of it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Schumann on in relief here in the 8th inning. And he'll be glad to know his fastballs are at least coming in around 95. That's not too bad for your first time out in 7 weeks. 2-1, the count to Smith. Scott will bring it home. Swing and a miss at the next fastball. And it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schumann is 34 years of age now, and his fastball has been topping out typically around 96.5 in his work this season. The motion, the 2-2, he got him. Pulled the string on that one. Down goes Smith, and Schumann makes his return pay off with a strikeout. 1 away. Dontrell Marshall will come in. Marshall is 0 for 3 with an RBI. Schumann's first 3 pitches, not so good. 2 balls and a hard hit foul. And then he came back. Fastball for a swing and a miss, and then an off-speed 3rd strike. Here is Marshall, and he will take a pitch upstairs. Ball 1-0. Manuel Geraldo, who's had a very nice series at the plate, waits on deck. Lancaster's final hope will be Hoover, Dunston, and Mercedes in the top of the 9th. Schumann comes back. That ball sliced into the gap in right center field, and that will go out to the wall. This will be the 5th double for the legends in the ball game. Dontrell Marshall going the other way against Schumann. Runner in scoring position with 1 out for Geraldo, who has one of the doubles. Better than half the hits for Lexington in this game have been good for 2 bases. And that came off of a fastball that clocked at 96. Marshall able to get around on it enough. He hit that squarely and drove it to the gap in right center. Geraldo will step in. The on-deck batter is the catcher, Jorgen. Schumann will go to work on the switch hitter, who's batted exclusively left-handed in this series. We have seen nothing of Eric Cha in relief for the Barnstormers here in this 3-game set. No balls and 1 strike. The count to Geraldo. Marshall leads off second. Schumann gives him a glance. The wind and the pitch, and that is taken into right field for a base hit. Up with it is Felice. Marshall will be held at third. Throw comes on through. Schumann cuts it off himself. They're at the corners, and Jorgen will step in. Well, they're making good contact against Schumann's fastball. Double and a single here in the 8th inning. 1st and 3rd with 1 out. And Schumann is in danger of allowing his first earned run of the season. But there are a number of things working here. 1, he's rusty. 2, he's not closing. So for him to have an outing like this is kind of forgivable. You want to see him get through it. Jorgen stands in. He has walked, grounded out, and struck out. Schumann to the plate, and it's fouled into the net. No balls and 1 strike. It was actually off speed that Geraldo was able to pull through the right side there. Off speed for Schumann. 6 miles an hour harder than Thompson threw at any point. 0-1. Jorgen takes a fastball low. Ball 1, strike 1, 6-3 in favor of Lexington as we play the bottom half of the 8th inning tonight. The Legends trying to break it open. And the Barnstormers trying to stay within save opportunity. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jorgen will ground a fastball to first. Cordero will go to second. That's 1. The relay throw back is a double play. 3-6-3. And Schumann will keep his 0 ERA intact as Andretti Cordero made the right decision there with the catcher running He decided to go for the double play instead of the play at the plate on Marshall. No runs, 2 hits with no errors, 1 left. We will go to the top half of the 9th inning, and it's still 6-3 in favor of Lexington.
Are you sick and tired of washers that don't use enough water or take 2 hours to clean and don't last more than a few years? Well, come into Gockenauer's in East Petersburg now and let us show you the Speed Queen commercial grade laundry. Built the old-fashioned way with warranties up to 7 full years. Gockenauer's will deliver and install your new Speed Queen, and we know you'll be fully satisfied with your purchase. Gockenauer's in East Petersburg, your hometown dealer for 73 years.
At Clipper Magazine Stadium, we have hot dogs and popcorn, peanuts, soda, and nachos. But what if, say, you are only 3 months old and mom wants to have a night out and watch the Barnstormers? Well, thanks to May Grant Obstetrics and Gynecology, the littlest of Stormer fans now have a place to go for dinner during the game. Tots can take mom to the Little Sluggers dugout behind Section 13 at the stadium for a comfortable private feeding experience. A brightly painted room with comfortable furniture and TVs tuned to the game, it is the perfect spot for baby and mom during a night at the ballpark.
Knockoffs, copycats, imitators. They all share one thing in common. They always pale in comparison next to the true original. Just like the stylish and versatile Lexus RX. The crossover that paved the way for others. And it's still the best for one simple reason. Nothing else is as good as the original. See Bobby Ray Hall Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
Barnstormers will be facing Austin Adams, one of the league's better closers. He is shooting for save number 12. No hits against the lefties out of the bullpen over the last 3 innings. Lavendier was clean in the 8th. And Adams will be facing Hoover, Dunston, and Mercedes as the Barnstormers step in the top half of the 9th inning. And there really, I don't think, is a spot here where you would contemplate going to Ladarius Clark. Jake Hoover is 0 for 3 tonight, but he doesn't have to feel sad about it. He's gotten good swings in all 3 times up. He's probably had, in many ways, the best night at the plate of anybody on the club. He takes a strike from Adams here. It is 0-1. He has flied out to the warning track and left, smoked into a double play, and flied out to right center field with a running catch made by Irvin. Here's the 0-1. Adams will deliver and miss. Ball 1, strike 1. The Barnstormers need 3 here in the top half of inning number 9, trailing 6-3. They scored twice, but without a base hit in the top of the first inning, and they've left a lot of runners early and haven't had many recently. Fouled away to the right side. Adams has Hoover at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The rain seems to have let up here at Wild Health Field. Always rain that we could play through. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jake Hoover. Adams will bring it in high. And Jake is up there 2-2. The Barnstormers try to get something started. Just 4 hits, all singles for the Barnstormers in the game. They got lulled to sleep by the walks early. And the bats have never gotten going here. Hoover almost gets hit. Shades of Nick Travieso. And it's 3-2. Travieso, the York right-hander, who actually threw behind Hoover's head. 3 balls, 2 strikes on the Lancaster shortstop. Full count pitch coming. Hoover will take a walk to get something started here in this top half of inning 9. 3-2. Adams ready to go. The payoff drops in for strike 3 called. He got frozen by a breaking ball. That is 1 gone. here in the 9th inning. Dunston will come to the plate. He has 3 walks tonight. He has scored 1 of the 3 runs. He has his 10th stolen base. And last time up, he grounded out to the shortstop Cuevas. Here's the pitch. Adams is high, and it's ball 1 to Dunston, 1-0. The Barnstormers will get on the bus and get on the road as fast as everybody can get things together here after the game. Ball 2 is outside to Sean, 2-0. And looking forward to home cooking for the better part of the next 6.5 weeks. 2-0 on Dunston. He will go after it and hit a fly ball foul down the left side, and unable to get there is Dwight Smith Jr. 2 balls and a strike. Smith over toward left center against the left-handed batter. The ball dropped in a narrow strip of land in foul territory down the left field line. Dunston bats at 2-1 with 1 out here in the 9th inning. The last Lancaster base hit, Shaver with a ringing single to left leading off the 5th inning. There is strike 2 on an over-the-top fastball from Austin Adams. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and now the rain begins to fall on us once again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Dunston holds. The pitch is in the dirt. It is 3-2, and he's going to take off and run, so he'll get a base hit for that. Or will he? The umpire called time, not giving Dunston the chance. Forgot about the rule, perhaps. So it is 3-2 on Dunston. Well, I think the rule is you have to take off immediately, too, and he did not. So he gets called back. We haven't seen it since the home opener, when Ladarius Clark did it twice. And I think those are the only 2 occasions in the league this year, from what I understand. Dunston will bat at 3-2. Adams fires, and that's a swing and a miss. So Austin Adams has struck out the first 2. Melvin Mercedes will be the final hope for the Barnstormers. 2 hits for Melvin tonight. He has a run batted in and a run scored. The night started with so much promise for the Barnstormers, but when they didn't make Thompson pay with a 5 or 6 run inning in the first, it kind of doomed the game. 4 walks to the first 5 batters. If you don't put up a big number and let the guy off the hook, the game can easily spiral the other way, and this one did. Nobody got that big hit in the first inning. 1 strike to Mercedes. Adams comes back and misses away. It is ball 1, strike 1 in front of a rowdy crowd of 1999 here on this Thursday night. Mercedes, the final hope for the Lancaster Barnstormers. He works against Adams at 1-1. The next delivery is low. 2 balls and a strike with Kelly Dugan waiting on deck. Dugan has walked 3 times. They haven't given him much of a chance, and that's the way I kind of expected teams to start pitching to the Barnstormers. It is ball 3 now. 3-1 to Melvin Mercedes, and some uncouth things being said in the crowd. We apologize. Strike 2 on the outside corner. Mercedes went to chuck the bat away, and he'll come back. Melvin is shaking his head, and his bat will be handed back to him by Kelly Dugan, the on-deck hitter. 3 balls, 2 strikes, Adams to Mercedes. The Barnstormers have had their first 2 batters strike out against Austin Adams here in the 9th inning. He is ready to go. Mercedes will get ball 4, and that is the 10th walk picked up by the Barnstormers in the game. Again, when you're walking all that much, sometimes you can't get the bats going, and that's been the story for the Barnstormers in this game. If you're the opposing team, you don't want to do that purposely and tempt fate. Here is Dugan. He has walked 3 times and flied to left. On deck is Cordero, whose 18-game hitting streak while playing a defensive position is in jeopardy. Adams to Dugan, fastball high and outside. It is ball 1. Now, they're certainly not going to pitch around Dugan here and bring the tying run to the plate. That is senseless. Ball 1 and nothing, the count on the Lancaster DH. Mercedes leads from first. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and again it is up, ball 2. Dugan batting at 2-0. Cordero, the on-deck hitter, he is 0 for 4. Hit the ball hard his last time up. He has batted with 6 runners on base tonight. Bases loaded twice, and he's come up empty both times. That's part of this ball game, too. Here's a 2-0. Dugan will look at a breaking ball that crosses the very edge of the inside corner. Now it is 2-1 to Kelly. Mercedes held by Tejeda over at first base. A very casual hold. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dugan. Kelly looks at ball 3. And Adams having trouble closing things out tonight. The Barnstormers will be taking on Staten Island tomorrow, or should I say the Lebanon Iron Masters will be taking on Staten Island tomorrow at 6:30. We'll have it for you at 6:25. Ball 4 is low. Dugan draws the 4th walk and a season-high tying 11th for the Barnstormers in the game. It gets Cordero another shot here. Andretti 0 for 4. And we're going to have a chat at the mound, and this will be a timeout that Lexington can afford to squander. Mercedes and Dugan are aboard, each for the 4th time in the game. Dugan has been, or Dunston, I should say, has been on 3 times. So when your top 3 in the lineup have been on base 11 times in the game, and you only have 3 runs to show for it, that's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Cordero getting another chance here. He's got men at first and second with 2 outs. The last 2 times up, he has slammed a ball foul down the left field line on the first pitch. Adams will come to the set, and to Cordero. He starts him off with a breaking ball. Andretti takes it for a strike. It is 0-1. Adams has struck out 2, followed by 2 walks here in this 9th inning. Cordero batting at 0-1. The Barnstormers still have a shot in this 9th frame. Here is the set, and to Cordero. He'll chop it foul past Ross Peoples. And Adams has his ball club on the edge of taking 2 out of 3 in this series, dropping the Barnstormers to 25-36 on the year, but still with a plus run differential. Cordero at 0-2, a guy who has hurt the Legends quite a bit this year. He's got 9 runs batted in the season series over the first 5 games, but tonight he has just come up dry. No balls, 2 strikes to Andretti. Mercedes off second. Dugan will lead from first. Tying run is at the plate. Adams will work from the stretch, and the pitch is low, and I expected it to be there. I think Cordero may have also. It is ball 1 on Andretti. Colton Shaver, the catcher, hoping for a turn. He is the man on deck. He had a dramatic 9th inning homer yesterday that tied us at 10. 1-2 to Cordero. Here is the pitch, and that is barely fouled. Cordero sticks around at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Barnstormers are still breathing. Trailing by 3. We have not seen a run Since the bottom of the fifth, we have not seen a Barnstormers hit since the top of the fifth. Cordero batting at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs and 2 on. Adams comes to the set. Here is the pitch. Cordero pops this up right side, down the line, long run back, and the first baseman, Tejeda, is able to get there and make the catch a long way down the right field line, and that takes the bat out of Cordero's hands and ends us here tonight. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the Barnstormers leave 2 more. The Lexington Legends take 2 out of 3 in this series, and the Lancaster Barnstormers still struggling to put together any kind of a winning streak. We'll be back with a wrap-up coming your way in just a moment. The final score this evening, the Lexington Legends 6 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Well, the Lancaster Barnstormers now get to head home and stay home. The team has traveled quite a bit here in the first half of the season, but now it is a stretch where the Barnstormers will be locked in Pennsylvania. They will play the next 26 games in the Keystone State, and then after a 3-game swing up to Staten Island, it will be 12 more. A lot of play at and near home for this Barnstormers ball club, and it is where this team is going to have to put together a winning streak. This road trip ends up at 4-8, despite the fact that the Barnstormers realistically were in every single game on this trip. They pulled out some thrillers. They won the game here Tuesday night. They won the 11-inning game at Long Island last Friday, but still they are dropping these close games more than they're winning them, and tonight could also be considered to be a reasonably close game, but too many walks, not enough hits. When pitchers walk a lot, it either leads to a rout or leads to something like this, and the Barnstormers just could never figure out the key to hitting the ball hard against the Legends and their wildness in this game tonight. Lexington walked 11. It ties the most against the Barnstormers all year, but Lancaster couldn't figure out a way to get those runners home, and they end up falling 6-3. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 5 left for the Legends, and the Barnstormers 3 runs on 4 hits, all singles, no errors, and they left 10 runners on base here tonight. The win goes to Jeff Thompson. It might as well have been Daryl Thompson. He is 3-6. The loss to Cameron Gann. He is now 4-5. Both pitchers got off to a very slow starts here tonight. Austin Adams with the save is 12th. We saw no home runs in tonight's ball game. 2:59 the time, and 1999 ring up Prince, but that was the crowd here tonight at Wild Health Field in Lexington, Kentucky. 6-3, the Barnstormers go down, and most of the runs came early. The Barnstormers struck for a couple in the first inning on 4 walks and a forced play grounder by Anderson Felice, and that was not a double play, simply by the fact that it looked like Cesar Cuevas, the shortstop, lost track of the number of outs. He thought he had 3 and started to take the ball toward the dugout, and by the time he recognized it, Felice was already across at first base, and the Barnstormers had their second run home. But the Legends came back very quickly and put 3 on the board in the bottom of the first inning, and it started on the first three batters. Boog Powell with a perfect drag bunt single, went to second on a wild pitch. He scored when Tillman Pugh doubled down the right field line, a ground rule double into the corner. And then Phillip Ervin singled into right center. He stole second and would eventually score from third base on a ground ball by Montrell Marshall. Andretti Cordero took it in the bag, got the out on Marshall, thought he still had time to throw home, and he just about did. It was very close play at the plate, but Ervin, who runs very well, slid across with the run, and it was 3-2 in favor of the Legends. The Barnstormers would tie the game in the top of the second with 2 outs. Sean Dunston Jr. had picked up a walk. He stole second, and then Melvin Mercedes hit a ground ball up the middle. Tillman Pugh made a heck of a stop, but he couldn't get enough on the throw. Dunston never slowed down. He beat the relay throw home, and the Barnstormers had their third and what turned out to be final run across the plate. The Legends came out and scored a pair in the bottom of the second inning with 2 outs and 2 on. Sam Ervin doubled down the right field line. The ball kicked away from Anderson Felice as he ran after it. He actually drove it deeper into foul territory. Ervin tried to take third. Felice started a relay that cut him down 9-6-5, but the damage was done. It was 5-3. And in the fifth inning, a double by Powell and a single by Pugh combined to score what turned out to be the final run of the ball game here tonight. The Barnstormers never had a hit after Colton Shaver lined a single into left field to start off the fifth inning. Jeff Thompson finished his night with 3 straight swinging third strikes after that. The Barnstormers drew a total of 3 walks against the bullpen, but never could push anything across. They hit 1 ball hard against the bullpen. That was Cordero in the 7th inning, and it resulted in the second double play turned by the Legends here tonight. So the Barnstormers are now 11 games below 500, and it's the second time now that the Barnstormers have been that far under the even mark. 25 wins, 36 losses, just 5 games to go in the first half. For the longest time, we held out a lot of hope the Barnstormers could get to 500 by the end of the half. Obviously, that is not possible. The Staten Island Ferry Hawks come in over the weekend, and as you know, the Barnstormers, whenever they get together with the Ferry Hawks, it seems to be pretty low-scoring baseball, including a 1-0 Barnstormers win the last time they met. So it is 3 games beginning tomorrow night. The Barnstormers will dress in the Lebanon Iron Masters jerseys for the 3-game weekend series. We'll have that for you not just on the Barnstormers YouTube channel, but we'll be on Froggy Valley 100.1 out of Lebanon County for this 3-game weekend series as we honor our neighbors to the very, very near north, our friends up in Lebanon County over the next 3 days. Barnstormers, or Iron Masters, if you will tomorrow night be sending De La Cruz, or I take that back, it will be Eric Manoa going tomorrow night. Oscar De La Cruz will go Saturday, and it will be Nick Carroll tomorrow night for the Ferry Hawks. Join us on either one of our outlets at 6:25 tomorrow evening from Clipper Magazine Stadium. Now for our video producer, Ryan Cortazzo, and all the cast and crew getting ready for a very, very busy month of July at Clipper Magazine Stadium, as well as our presenting sponsor, Gockenauer Appliances of East Petersburg. I'm Dave Collins. Have a great evening, everyone. And come tomorrow night, and hopefully a lot more than that, we'll see you at the ballpark.